things to do. Getting rich, making moves, that's the cruise. Phone on silent, I ain't hearing you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Paper chasing, that's what I'm into. Busy grinding, gotta keep it true. Don't call me, I'll call you. I'm on the go, you know the vibe. Whipping the whip, I'm taking a ride. You hitting my line, I'm letting it slide. I got the hustlers nationwide. Running machine, counting it fast. Blowing my phone, I'm chasing a bag. Hanging on top of the chick in the chat. I'm on a mission, I'm doing the math. Ice on my wrist, it's looking like snow. Diamonds so cold, they hit it like whoa. Don't need distractions, I'm stuck in the door. When I'm done, you know I let you know. Don't call me, I'll call you. Money stacking up, I got things to do. Getting rich, making moves, that's the cruise. Phone on silent, I ain't hearing you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Paper chasing, that's what I'm into. Busy grinding, gotta keep it true. Don't call me, I'll call you. Rain will rain, but I ain't gon' pick up. I'm in the cut, gotta get my racks up. Pushing the gas, I ain't never gon' stop. Grinding so hard, I'm taking the top. Back row thick, pockets on swole. You hitting my line, I'm letting it go. Man, it looks so clean, dripping and gold. You ain't on my level, you already know. Stay your lane, I'm running the game. Phone on silent, you know the name. Make any moves, stacking the change. Don't need no drama, ain't playing no games. Don't call me, I'll call you. Money stacking up, I got things to do. Getting rich, making moves, that's the cruise. Phone on silent, I ain't hearing you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Paper chasing, that's what I'm into. Busy grinding, gotta keep it true. Don't call me, I'll call you. I'm on a mission, ain't got no time. Put it up since I'm on the grind. Phone on mute, I'm in my prime. Don't call me, I'm cutting the line. Pockets so fat, pockets obese. Blowing my phone, I'm chasing the cheese. I'm in the top, it's a different breeze. Focus on money, I'm feeling at ease. Making these plays, running the scope. Don't need your call, I'm ready for more. Waiting on me, I'm setting the tone. When I get there, I hit up your phone.
Energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. If you wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama. Yeah, I got that big D energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama.
No, Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
Transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
I really had a like a llama. I whip that beat out like Michael Obama.
We already had it with
I got that
Obama.
beat
So
energy.
let's just calm down.
Nobody wanna step to me.
No.
And if you really wanna bring that drama, I whip that ass like Michael Obama. I'm a girl, 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 I'm a whip them thing out like Michael Obama. I got that big energy. Ain't nobody wanna step back me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I whip that ass like Michael Obama. Ain't got that clip, bitch. Hung like a llama. I whip that dick out like Michael Obama.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
You want to cheer with the big boys. Some of the move kitty kitty with the other back from the drunk cup. Ah. Hey. Let me see how the thing goes.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracies, sex, culture, makings, it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracies, sex, culture, makings, it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys.
Big ups, big ups, big ups, big ups. Welcome to Ladies Night, Ssgg. Thank you for joining us. This is the Secret Society of Good Guys, Chaney and Abbie and Layla. And we are here to talk about whatever we decide our ovaries and our periods want to talk about tonight.
Brah.
So, brah,
How about
brah,
that?
put it on notice. So thank you guys who are masculine enough to join us and not feel like it makes you less masculine to hear us bitch and moan, because that's all women do is bitch and moan. Let's be real.
Yeah, and you get to learn a little something about women that maybe you might have never,
Well, if you don't
knew
wanna watch 3 hot
existed.
chicks, you're totally gay, so
Yeah,
come
let's
on.
be real.
But also make sure you hit the like and subscribe everywhere. This is usually the time we get in most trouble about talking about Dr. Fauci things. So do find us on
I love
Rumble
him.
and X, because our days on YouTube are numbered. I'm sure of it. So and do follow everyone on this panel. I told you guys at the end last time. I'll tell you at the beginning this time. Make sure if you're somebody who does want to join us for the meetup, it's going to be at Brogrove, BROGROVE.com, brogrove.com. You can get tickets. It's a 2-day event, Friday and Saturday night. And your favorite good guys, good girls, and good boys are all going to be there. So, yeah, do come and hang out. And
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Just
yeah,
don't
I
be
think
weird,
that's all the
please.
business I have. Let me think. Yeah, just please, God, don't be weird. Because if
Please.
you are weird, we will put it on blast. We will
Yeah.
call it out.
Yeah, please don't be weird. Thank you.
I feel like there is it makes me laugh sometimes. I pity the fool that gets Layla and I both mad at them.
I'll just sit back and watch. I'll
Yeah.
be entertained.
Like, I'm very nice, but then once I feel like, yo, like you're in my space now, like it'll get like ugly real quick, because I'm very nice. I'm very nice. I'm like, I'll turn people down very gently and very kindly. But once you keep pushing my buttons or keep stepping over my boundaries, play around and find out. See what happens. That's all I'm going to say.
Look at how stone.
Mhm.
That's all I'm gonna say. You're dead.
Dead, bro.
You're fired.
Fucking dead, bro.
So what
No,
else is going
you're
on?
probably leaving pain in your crotch.
And it won't be the good kind.
No.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. So what's happened since last time we hung out? I feel like there's been some false flags. Didn't like a plane go down or something?
Oh, yeah, in Brazil.
Yeah, plane.
Right after we were talking about plane crashes with some powerful witches.
I never take credit for stuff like that.
I know. I don't want to. I'm just saying it's funny we were talking about it and then it happened.
I love you. I love you.
It's intuition.
There you go.
That's
That
what
is powerful.
it's like. They say with 9/11, it was an event so powerful that maybe it was felt forward and backward in time. That's what, if you take out all the conspiracies and like, we know all the movies, they're just programming us to accept this event into our zeitgeist. But sometimes I just like to think, like, if you saw it fall in your head, maybe it was just such a big amount of energy on the collective. How could you not have the intuition to have that one coming?
Yeah.
That everyone kind of felt it.
Mm-hmm.
That you'd be Nostradamus and you're like, black bird hit tree at night. And they're like, Nostradamus was talking about the Twin Towers.
I mean, you can interpret that any way you want, like how he speaks. It's like you can interpret it many different ways if you wanted to. That's why I'm just like, it's cool. It's cool to get into the whole Nostradamus thing, but a lot of it you can just interpret it how you want it.
You guys have been watching Chaos, right?
I finished
Or
it.
finished
Fucking
it?
love it. Fucking
I've
love
got
it.
one episode left.
What do they get? They all get their own little, where it's their prophecy. Yeah, it's kind of the same similar thing
The
where
fates.
it's like a loosey-goosey idea about your future, almost not meant to be too tight, because if they told you, like, on the third eclipse sun on a Tuesday morning, Juan, that's when you might die, Juan, on a Tuesday morning. If
Mhm.
they told you that, then it would be too, like, perfect. Like, so they give you this loosey-goosey fate so you don't live your entire life waiting for it.
But if you actually ever have your astrology chart read by somebody, like I have a friend who reads them and she reads them she said that's your blueprint. It's not about your personality. It's about what you're here to do in this lifetime. Like what you're here to alchemize and become and progress to, this progression of your soul for this life. Like that's your soul's mission. So it's your blueprint. And it's like, it's different when you interpret it like that. So it's almost like you have your own prophecy.
Yeah.
Because you can be born on the same day as someone, but if you're born at different times, you're born in different, areas, it's going to be a completely different chart.
But wouldn't it be interesting if it worked in the way of chaos, where you were kind of born and instead of getting a birth certificate, this like weird demonic paper that's in maritime law that says like you are cargo coming into port, instead of something weird like that you were born and you got a prophecy and it was like this child. What, Layla?
It would be interesting to live life that way. Like
Yeah,
I
and like
wouldn't
what
know
it was
how to
supposed to
live.
be.
Yeah, like
Don't you think you'd fit everything to it? Like, is this the thing? This is the thing. Like,
yeah, I'd be paranoid every day.
yeah.
Like I don't think I'd like that.
But that's why it's kind of like loosey goosey. So it doesn't tell you like you're gonna die on a Tuesday morning, Juan. It's like loosey goose. It's like like something that you just.
If you want to believe that it's going to happen also, or you can just not believe that it's going to happen and it won't happen.
Well, there was there was two people pretty much that are, without giving anything away, that are almost like main characters, that both of them are kind of like fuck the gods, and both of those people happen to have the same prophecy of a god.
Mm,
And so they didn't believe in the prophecy. They were like, fuck the gods. I don't
yeah.
even care about this. They didn't believe in it, but it didn't make it any less possible. And then Prometheus tries to convince Zeus that that's for mortals. You are past your prophecy. You're a god.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, nope, not even you are past your prophecy.
So then that begs the question, like, are you a god? Is there something higher above you? And obviously, if you watched it, we don't want to give too much away, but
But it
something's
is
coming.
it's a similar story of the actual, like, it's so similar to the story that I don't know. It's almost like watching like 1912 and giving something away, or like one of those movies where you're like, oh, I watched Full Metal Jacket. I don't want to give anything away about the war. It kind of feels like that in ways where it's like we're not giving anything away, but we are. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to give too
That's
much
how
away.
I feel.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't want you guys
because
to
I
know.
always question, like, what would happen after the afterlife? Because you asked that question, like, doesn't it resemble like the movie Souls from Disney? And it kind of does, but like in the afterlife sense, we do ask these questions and they create a heaven and a hell. But then in this version, there's a Hades or a underworld that Hades is in charge of, and your souls go to them, the gods. Like you go nowhere after that. But if they didn't have that frame, what would happen to the souls? Do they just wander? Can they come back and just like, through that garbage chute, like how they were coming back
Well,
from the
that's
dead?
where, like, when I said the reason I never liked that movie Souls is because it's almost like that recycle idea where you and there's a few religions too that are like you're not supposed to go back to the light. Like that idea of us keep following, go to the light, Carol Ann, go to the light. Like you're not supposed to do that. But they
Yeah.
have us on this like track to keep getting
Yeah,
recycled
looping
in this
and
way.
getting recycled, getting reborn.
And that's what connects that whole moon theory with Pac-Man and like eating of the souls and like it's just fucking weird. Like maybe that's what the moon is. It's like that light that takes the souls and the sun is what brings them back. It's like a recycling,
The
when the stars are
Toltecs,
set to make your
yeah,
projection. It's so weird.
the Toltecs say that when you die, like you go back to what they call like the eagle's emanation, or they call us the eagle's emanations, and you go back to the eagle, and the eagle consumes you when you die. So it's like it's still kind of the same idea of what you're saying there, and it's kind of creepy when you think about that. It's
Yeah.
like the god is consuming your, but then is it reintegration with being God? I don't know.
Yeah, because God created you, so like he can take you.
It's like
But
God is
that is
saying
the
you're a
thing.
raindrop, then you go
That's
back to
kind of
being consistent.
scary though, like when you think about it.
I
That's
have been stuck on that since last week when we were talking, and God in the Bible admits there's other gods, blew my mind. Like
Mm.
It's the first commandment.
that blew my fucking mind. Like I never read it that way. And of course, that's exactly what he says. You aren't allowed to have any other gods before me. You could have other gods, that's fine. Just
You know,
not first. I'm
I
your
think the
first
Quran
place
says that
God.
too. Like there's only one God but God, and you can't put other gods before him, and da da da. And if you worship, if you put other idols with him, like God is not gonna notice you or whatever. The whole whatever, you won't be forgiven. Um, yeah, it's part of the Islamic religion too.
Yeah. The first commandment, you shall have no other gods before me. Second one is you shouldn't make idols out of graven images. So
Oh, I don't like that. We're too far away. You guys are so far away. I don't like that. Let me put
Can
it
you
back.
one by
Oh,
one like make us close,
let's
like
see.
individually?
Um,
Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na,
like the
na.
Brady Bunch.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
figuring it out.
There. That's how I like it. So I can actually see your guys' face when
No,
we're
I try to
chatting.
be like eye level, but my screen isn't working down here, so I plugged it into my huge TV in front of me so I can see us extra large. I can see every blemish.
I do have a big, huge TV I want to add to this somehow. I just don't know if I want to use it or if I want it behind me. I can't figure it out. I can't decide. A big, huge TV.
Oh, is that Alex? I think Alex is in here. Alex. Yeah, Alex is in the chat.
Oh, who, Daddy Alex?
I think so, right? Or is that a different
What
Alex?
up? What up? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Anyways, hi, Daddy Alex. If you're in the chat, I didn't know if you
Yeah.
meant Alex Donut.
No,
he's a
Alex.
jealous
I'm like,
God. We're talking
donut?
about
Alex.
angry and jealous God. Yeah. The God of the Old
Mhm.
Testament is angry, jealous, and wrathful.
Yeah,
This
and then
New Testament
99
story.
names of God has that. Like one of the names is the destroyer, the I have the cards somewhere in here, but some of them I'm like, oh my God, yeah, these names are like, I am the all. I am the destroyer, the lover, the creator, the you name it, the 99 names of all of creation. The majestic, the all forgiving, the gracious, the most high. A lot of really wonderful words. The most forgiving, the most merciful.
I think it's so crazy. I don't know, just the pure amount of gods. And then some of the gods were the same gods in different, religions where they're just like, oh, that God, that's just the same God as this God over here. It's just this religion calls him this. And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, okay, if that's true, I don't know. I always go back to the movie, what is it, The Immortals that we talk about, where there's
Yeah.
like Gilgamesh and there's what is there, Helena? Who are the gods on it?
I forget.
Yeah, I forget, whatever. But I just always go back to this mix of like somewhere they all decided, okay, you could go over there, you go over there, we're all playtiming, we all have our idols, we're all running our people as we see fit. And then somebody above us is like, no, it just seems like there's levels to this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or like the creation of man, let's say, is the creation of man, but there was the Nephilim. Like, did the Nephilim at one time, if they weren't all Goliath and up, were they like, hey, I'm Helena, worship me? And I'll give you guys these things. I'll teach you this. And then some other giant is like, hey, I'm Gilgamesh. Worship me and give me these things, and I'll give you this. And some other giant over on this side, he puts on like an elephant skull over his own skull. And he's like, I'm scary. Give me this. And then some other one realizes, the elephant looks a certain way, but if I just take the elephant's actual skull, it looks like a cyclops and they'll think I have one eye. So then he came on and put that on and it's like, I'm scarier. Give me this. I don't know. Does it just seem like different levels of malevolence and benevolence?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm like, maybe God forbid, like, God, this is just hypothetical. Okay. Because I don't even know how to freaking
God
go without,
forbid.
like, God forbid. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't see it, but if there is, I'd rather die and find out that there is than, and find out there isn't one, then whatever how the saying goes. If I die, I'd rather know that, find out that there isn't a God, and rather than not believing in him
Oh, like
and
you're
finding
hedging
out
your
that there
bet,
is.
God.
Yeah.
I know. I always think like if God worked that way, doesn't it seem like your God isn't all that omnipotent if he's like, she doesn't really believe in me. She's hedging her
Well,
bets.
I do because in all scripture it says, look for the signs, look for the signs. And the signs are literally everywhere. You're a sign. I'm a sign. My dogs and cats are a sign. The trees that grow, the air that breathes, the birds
Sagittarius is
that
my
sing.
sign.
It's like those are
Sorry.
the signs of God being real. And that's what God is to me. It's the all. It's like all God matter. So we're all this experience of whatever God wants to do in this experience for us. I don't know what that is. Being, I don't know. Is he eating us? Okay, you made us. I guess you could eat us, but it's like, why would you want to eat us? Like, don't do that.
It goes into the whole chaos of it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just like, whew, okay,
Like we are literally just loosh.
you
We are
created
just
me. Sure.
food for
But
their
we're just
immortality.
energy. But what
Yeah.
about if it's not for a they? And like the same way, if as above, so below, as within, so without, or if everything has its opposite and life is a thing, is death a complete thing opposite of life? Is there really no such thing as a tree of good and evil, but the tree should be of life and death? And is it just death in different ways? Like, is what a demon is a dead energy that doesn't have a vessel trying to convince a living energy to do something? Is it just death versus life?
But
Is death a bigger thing, whether it be vampires or zombies or ghosts? It's
don't
all death.
angels do the same?
Well, you can angel, demon, whatever you want to call it. Is it really just death versus life? Whatever name you want to put on
Yeah,
it,
maybe.
is it really just the energy of death versus the energy of living?
It
But
probably
is it
is
death?
that.
Like, would you call demonic stuff death? Because I don't think death and demonic is the same. I think it's inorganic versus organic because we're in the flesh.
So, was something that could possess inorganic?
Yeah. Yes. It's still life, but it's life that has no
No life.
they have no life in their life. They
So
have
are they
life, but they
just
don't
death?
they're not organic. No. It's not that they're death because they're not
Were they
de
organic once and then you become inorganic?
I don't think so. I think they're very attracted to the organic.
So the idea of a
They're just
living thing
different energy. It's
haunting,
different energy.
the idea of a living thing dying and haunting something, you don't believe in that.
No,
Or
I think it's
maybe.
more like the difference between, like, kinetic and potential energy. Like, there's kinetic energy that's moving all the time. Potential energy is just it's totally different.
What do you
And I
think,
would
Layla?
Maybe it's just different levels, and we're not looking at think about it as density and the different levels of this realm. We have the heavens above and the Nephilim or whatever, the giants, and then we have the underworld, the ants they call it or whatever they want to call it, and those beings do not have the free will or the power to do anything here, neither up or down. So it's like when they want to communicate with us in whatever way they want to, whether they want to warn us or tell us something, or whether they want to warn us or tell us something, we don't know much about them. So, what if it's just them trying to use us as vessels to understand the different realms that they're in? Not necessarily take over, but just let us know, hey, we exist down here, and this is what we know in this realm, and then that realm up there, hey, we exist up here too, and this is what we know in this realm, and they try to communicate, not necessarily do anything bad, but we look at it as bad because that's all we know as humans, and they know things that we might not know, and they know things that we might not know, and we might know things that they don't both know. So, as above, so below. I don't know. That's how I look at it sometimes. It's like these beings of different dimensions, density, and they can't do what they do down there. They can't do what they do up there in this realm.
Like, AI would be one kind of whatever's going on, that I could fill all the right words in something and have it speak to you. But if that thing were possessed, that would be a different energy controlling it. But would the possession necessarily have to be malevolent or benevolent?
Well, don't we do it when we try to conjure these beings? We try to possess them when we try to conjure and call upon whatever spirit or whatever demon or whatever angel. Isn't that like a form of possession when we do that in this realm for them? Isn't
If
that
you're
the same
asking
thing?
him to walk in you, like take over and possess me, I don't know
Well,
how you pray.
I know, but like that's like when you conjure something, like I'm talking about in like the magic sense, how people conjure demons or whatever. Isn't that a form of us possessing them and taking control of them? When like Solomon seals and having control over their will.
I wonder that sometimes, like, let's say, like, us 3 are demons, and we're all hanging out having a bridge game, and
Uh-huh.
then somebody's fucking around with a Ouija board to seal a sigil somewhere, and all of a sudden, Abbie's, like, starts glitching, and we're like, "Oh, no. Somebody's messing around with that thing again." And Abbie's like, "I'll be back. Glitch, 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 glitch," and then she's out, and then it's like, "Whoa, don't mess with this anymore. Here I am, Bloody Mary in the mirror. Ooh." And then,
Mhm.
like, once they're done, she comes back. Ah, every time somebody says my name 3 fucking times in the mirror, I get blanked out of this reality, and
Dude,
I'm in a different reality. You're in a weird way, that would be like, you would have the least amount of control.
Ugh,
That would be a
there's a
form of
person at the
hell.
crossroads again.
Yeah, like that would be a form of hell if there was an energy that anytime anyone thought about you, you were blanked out of that reality. So then, in a way, if you were like, let's say, Julius Caesar and there was a big statue of you somewhere, then every time somebody went by it and thought of you, you blanked out of your reality. So almost the worst thing would be to be remembered past your death for too long. Because you could never like build a future in the next realm because you're constantly being called back into this one.
Oh, that
Right,
reminds me of that
dude.
picture statue or the guy's freaking grave. He was like a writer. He's 21-year-old writer, and he's buried in Paris. And like his effigy or whatever is like a statue of him laying on his back. And supposedly women who
I
women
thought
who
that was in
orgasm.
Louisiana.
No, it's in
Oh
Paris.
my
I think.
gosh, I thought it was in Louisiana. But either way, yeah, I just had that on my story. Go on, finish it.
Anyway, I guess women who go and hump the statue, they do it to get pregnant. And I'm so curious because I tried to read the comments and see if anybody had said that it worked because it's like rubbed, it's all tarnished and everything, and then on his crotch, on his mouth, and on his shoes, it's all like
Bronze,
nice
perfectly
bronze.
bronze. It's like
Yeah,
everywhere else, it's like green, like
green.
how metal changes color. And then, yeah, where Abby says,
But then like everyone in the comments like, "Oh my god, these women are so horrible. I can't believe they do this." And I'm like, I want to read like anecdotes. I want to hear if anybody's done it and they gotten pregnant. Like, I really want to know this.
here's another weird, speaking of stories, but this has stuck with me since I saw it. And I shout out to my Maria777 on Instagram.
Little honey
Her
bunny.
story, she was like, what if all of the statues are really just victims of Medusa?
Well, that I kind of had that idea watching Percy Jackson. Did you
No,
ever?
I think she just made men hard. That's all.
I love your idea of that.
Yeah, I love that.
But and in the chaos
Don't.
realm of that movie of chaos, I love that Medusa runs the underworld in a way, and she is like however many thousands of years of 6,000 years. I don't know why. Even in my head and my intuition, I always see the 6,000 year reign. Whatever it is, it's 6,000 years. But however long she's been down there, that they've been waiting so long, all these gods, all these immortals, all these titans, because past the gods are the titans to them in this storyline. And so then it's like past all this stuff, they were waiting for everything would change for because humans were coming. Which is kind of, even though the humans were feeding them, the thing that the gods were actually waiting on desperately, even Prometheus himself,
We're humans.
were humans. And it's kind of like wild, like somewhere, and they still had a prophecy, and somewhere we mattered to them, like in
And-
their great war.
Yeah, and I love how the idea of how, the gods think of love as such a weakness. But what really is the power in all this is the love that makes people so strong, the humans so strong, that the gods envy is something that they lack, these gods. It's like this love gene that they don't have. Like the kids, none of the kids like the father or the mother. It's like none of them like them.
Because
Why?
they're half breeds.
Yeah.
They have human in them. They're like of
There's no
Zeus's
love.
affairs with humans. So that's where they're like, the weakest part of me is human. And that's where they get told, maybe the best part of you is human.
Human.
Maybe the thing. But I
Yeah.
also think the black cat is so interesting. Just like an interesting little addition.
I cried in that part because I felt his pain. Oh my God.
But just like even for the Friday of it all, the black cat of it all, the little bad luck of it all, like it would be something that would permeate bigger if it was something like that. Demigods. Sometimes even the word demigod, it reminds me of semi-more or semi-null. Sometimes the word seminal, like demi is like semi. So when I see that in places, we always think all these Indian names sometimes are things that aren't in our English tongue. And I think somewhere they are connected. I think somewhere in the oldest languages, we think, oh, all those native stuff, they didn't speak the same thing we spoke. I think the roots of all this stuff are a lot similar. Like we got it from somewhere. Even if we were babbled.
Half a man, half
Like
a dude.
even if we were Tower to Babel, like we still would have had language or a root that kept us all together somewhere. We still would have had an etymology that we all had at the core.
Well, according to my friend Dylan, it's like Tor is one of the words, and that's like the torus, the toroidal thing, and the bowl comes up everywhere. The
Yeah, the
bowl and
bowl.
the donut. Like that's kind of one of the root word of almost every language.
The donut.
Yeah, because the toroidal field, it's a donut, right?
Yeah,
The Torah, yeah,
it goes with it, and then it has that like two donuts technically.
yeah. It's like the apple core.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm like,
If you put it in
two
a
donuts.
circle, no, if you put it in a circle, it'd be one donut.
Yeah, it'll be one
Be a
donut if
ring.
you look at it at its
Yeah.
different angle. You're right. You're right. You are right. I don't know what this realm is. It is a very interesting one. Why I'm here? You tell me. I don't know, but I love it. It's fun. We're supposed to have fun. We're not supposed to be stressing. We're supposed to love.
I
Just
don't
really
know. I
love.
think that stuff's supposed to happen too, but
What?
don't think fun and love level you up at all. I think that's the things you enjoy. And then I do think it's strife that levels you up. I think it's
It
all the
is.
hard times. I think it's death.
Oh yeah, for
I think
sure.
it's grief. And then I think the being able to love is this beautiful part of being human. This being able to love another species, to be able to love a stranger, to be able to love a moment, to be able to love a sunset, to be able to love a song. I think there's something about that in humans that's like
After so
beautiful.
much of all of that you've gone through life, you learn how to still have fun and know that like this too shall pass. I've been through fucking hell and back, and this is nothing to me anymore. So you look at it as a game and not take it so serious because you know you're going to overcome it because you always have. So once you reach a certain level of like becoming aware with yourself and your experience, that you make life more easy for yourself when you're in tough situations. You're not so hard on yourself.
If you're
It's
doing it right. So
yeah,
some people just let those be the thing that
that takes
creates
over.
they decide instead of being like almost like Winnie the Pooh. It's pretty easy to be one of the characters. You could be a rabbit or you could be an owl or you could be some combination of them. But there are some Eeyores in life that they refuse no matter what. They always just want to tell you, "Hi, Layla. I lost my tail. This is the energy. I always want to care."
I'm
Did you hear
depressed.
they're
I don't
passing
know
fake
why.
20s out down the way? Did you hear there was a shooting in a state I don't live in? Did you hear about a person dying that you'll never meet? Did you hear about, can I just, okay, let me go find my tail somewhere else? And then they leave, and you're like, God damn, that person's
Whoa.
energy was like, somebody I was a little butterfly and they were like, "Here, butterfly, let me just throw you in honey." That's how I feel.
Literally.
Like, so sometimes I do feel like life, some people just decide, like some people get honey on their wings and they stop and they clean themselves off. They take time and they clean themselves off and they're like back to flying. Other people just let more honey and then it gets covered in dirt and leaves and more honey and then it
Mhm.
gets covered in things and they just become
And
like
it becomes
slugs.
amber.
Yeah, they're slug life. Like,
Yeah.
they're legitimately, like, used to be a butterfly somewhere, and they still are, but they're like, "Hey, I just wanna remind you guys every day that you don't have wings. I just don't believe in flying. I just wanted to remind you guys about, like, something. Oh, my grandmother, when she died," you're like, "Bitch, you're 70. Like, when did your grandma die?"
Yeah.
So, I
Okay,
just
you know what I was saying when you were talking about that, like more coats of honey and dirt and whatever? I was thinking of Elvira getting tarred and feathers.
that's in general, I feel like some
I don't
people's
know why.
energy wants to tar and feather you.
I know.
Like, it's
Fucking agents, bro. Agent Smiths. They're like, let me just take her off track real quick. Let me be that demon and like whisper her shit in her ear, make her feel like shit again.
where they just wanna make you feel bad about the big storm out there. Did you see that storm? You're like, no, I didn't know anything about a storm.
It's
You feel
beautiful. I
almost
love
like,
when it rains.
yeah, like those people. Sometimes I wonder if they go around and they're like, see that storm out there? Fear. See that storm out there? Fear. See that storm out there? By the time we all look at this storm, we're all making it start to swirl. We're all putting this energy into it. All of a sudden, it's a fucking hurricane. It's like, stop paying attention to all this shit that doesn't matter. Like, does the Weather Channel even need to be a channel? Do you need the weather of the place you aren't or aren't going?
No. Well, it helps, if you're traveling. Yeah, I get it. But like 24/7?
No,
I
it's
don't
the
know.
same as 24/7 news. Why do you need the news of and people get this
Especially if they
feeling
control
of
the
like,
weather.
I'm such a kind person because I care about the children in Sierra Leone and Chaney does not. Like, I'm such a kind, good person because I care about the people of the countries that I've never heard of until the news told me about them today. I'm going to change my flag. I'm going to change my picture to a flag of that country. Look at me with solidarity. I
With Ukraine?
literally couldn't have done less if I tried. People they like put themselves on a pedestal and they literally couldn't have done less if they tried. They changed their picture. What? Get the I stand in solidarity with the gays, with the French, with the
What
whatever
are you doing for the
terrorist
kids in
attack.
your community? What are you doing for your community? What are you doing for the homeless people in your community? What are you doing for the poor people, for the old people that live in your town, the crazy people?
Nothing.
Nothing. I'm just gonna walk around and I'm like,
Ugh.
hey guys, did you see about the bad thing that's happening far away? I'm gonna let it get me down and now I'm bringing it to you. And you're like, get out of here, death. That's how I feel.
I mean,
Sometimes I'm just like, no, you're not going to win today, Hades. Stop using this person as a puppet and get out of here. That's what it just feels like when you're like Agent Smith or like CIA agents. What if you all have your own little private CIA agent just holding you down, just holding you back?
Probably.
or your frequency.
Probably. But that would need to be a big fucking agency.
It's at least Sandy Hook big. It's at least North Korea big.
Well, really though, does anybody have to go to a certain place to be trained? All they have to do is fucking get them in school, get them in. MK Ultra takes many forms.
Did y'all see that video I posted about how they hypnotized this man to like just randomly shoot at a person that they hypnotized them throughout the months with? He just like randomly got up, saw this lady in a polka dot dress, and then just aimed at this guy on stage and pop was an assassin, like a trained hypnotized assassin. And he saw the whole video and did not remember a thing about it and was shocked to see himself like do that. He was not even aware of it, and it makes me question like if these scenarios are real, which I feel like these characters that they choose aren't the real shooters. But if they wanted to, they could really hypnotize them.
They don't need the shooter to necessarily hit the person. If they just need the shooter to aim at the person and fire the
Yeah.
gun, I'll take the person out. They'll just have
Yeah.
the shooter there to be the patsy. But I
Yeah.
think this stuff's totally possible. And
Oh, for
it's like
sure.
keywords and things. And sometimes, we were talking about it on Friday about PSATs and SATs and ACTs and all these little weird tests. And if you were a hypnotist, you always start with 20 people. You
Mm.
always start with a certain amount of people and then you wean down to see who the most susceptible is going to be to suggestion. And so I wonder sometimes if that's what all those tests were throughout all of our lives, throughout all of our things. They find out the kids with the lead that are most likely to take suggestion with the least amount of moral code and little questions are all squeezed in those things. And so they could hunt that kid down by a certain point and like totally like boiling point. Like there's a couple of movies and stuff that they could, and then faking a death like Men in Black things. So somebody just becomes another person. I just don't think it's as hard as people think.
Yeah, it's not hard. No, absolutely not. I've seen some crazy shit done with hypnosis.
And
I remember
not everyone
I
can
was
be
hypnotized.
hypnotized. Not
Yeah.
everyone can be suggested upon. That's why they always start out with a whole bunch of people.
Mm.
And they'll ask questions, and between the few questions that they ask the people, they'll be able to tell who is likely to
What
be
does that mean?
suggestible.
Does that mean those people who are hypnotizable are weak-minded?
A little bit. Like they're more likely to be
Stupid.
ultra'd, but it's like it doesn't mean it's a bad thing necessarily. It's something I think about humans, that idea that we trust like that, it's
Yeah,
being
same distance.
manipulated. It
That's
doesn't
true.
mean it's bad because we do that thing. They've figured out how to use that thing against us.
Stupid. Use your discernment more and you won't be so hypnotizable. Right?
But it might be something that they almost look for even in their bloodlines, because they're doing the opposite of suggestion. What they're almost breeding for is the lack of empathy.
Yeah,
So
it's trauma.
yeah, so they're almost doing this way, like they want their kids and everything. They want to traumatize them so they lose all their empathy and attachment to humans. They don't want them to ever, like, they want them to think they're gods. Like the same way those gods in chaos all sat around the table. That's how the elite sit with their children and talk about us. Like, you are better than them. You can't love them. You're not a human like them. And so that's what I think they're doing on one side. So for us to be easily manipulated, it just says something like we're kind of sweet, like just
Yeah,
as creatures overall. Like we just assume people are going to hold the same moral code we hold. So the reason, like, if you just trust everyone, it's usually because the stuff out of your mouth is
it's
truthful.
trustful. Yeah,
I
you're
wonder if God thinks we're like cute. Like, oh, they're so cute and
Elephants think
adorable.
so.
Yeah. I
That's
just
awesome.
wonder, like, oh, look how cute. Look how fucking stupid, but so cute they are. Like, I wonder.
Oh, look at these little cute dummies.
That is so stupid, but I fucking love them. Look at them. They're so cute.
I
They're
like
my
that elephants think
creation.
we're cute like we think kittens are cute.
I love that.
That touches my heart for some reason.
So
Like when they
much.
look at us, they're just like,
Aw.
I feel that way about elephants too, though. They're so
I,
cute.
and they get cuteness aggression for us
Oh, that's
Yeah,
I want to
they just knock
experience
people over.
cuteness aggression.
Me
from an
too.
Like,
elephant.
I don't want to be the aggressor always. I want to be aggressed like that.
Anybody wants to get me a present, I want a like elephant painting original. Just saying. I'm just like obsessed with watching elephant painting videos. Have you watched those?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
so
So
cute.
cute.
So cute. So smart. Super smart.
They are adorbs. Poor elephants. Their elephants should be talked about more in conspiracy, because in, like, when Marco Polo goes, far east, and he writes about dragons, he writes about enormous elephants in a way that they are bigger than the elephants now. Oh,
Oh my
and
goodness.
like mastodon, we know this idea existed. So there's also a lore of Florida elephants. And some people think it's like the mastodons were hunted to a point that they were eventually chased to the edge of a cliff, so to speak. But the edge of the cliff was just the edge of like where the ocean met the water. And so there's all these mastodon bones and everything in Florida. And there's also like Miami elephants that you can look up, that some people are like, oh, those are elephants that got left behind from circus shows.
Mm,
Like just circus acts from different Barnum and Bailey, because they'd have different training grounds in Florida. They just got left behind. But
that's
you wonder, like, where there was elephants maybe on the planet, because I think we only have African and Indian now as their known. But sometimes they theorize that they used mastodons to help build the pyramids.
they killed so many. My God.
They still do. They
Gog
still
Magog.
the ivory.
Fucking annoying.
They say the ivory is also one of the reasons that the elephant, in a way, over time, because the male was always sniped for their ivory, that the women now, even the man in the herd, they step back. There's always a woman that leads the herd, because they can't trust that the men won't be taken out for the ivory by the humans, that the elephants themselves, because sometimes the oldest one in the herd is the only one that remembered the migration pattern from the year before. And that's how they do their grieving. That's how they do their, like, they have this whole process set into their migration. So if somebody didn't remember that and it wasn't passed down, it would like create havoc into the elephant tribe, because there used to be other elephant nomad tribes, and so they wouldn't cross paths, or so they wouldn't war or whatever. So the women are the ones that started to remember, and they're also one of the very few. Well, I guess the more I research, the more I find out animals all do this, and it's pretty beautiful. But
Yeah, it
they
only shows they're sentient.
like any one of the women fall and she has a child, all the women take care of the child forever. Like it becomes immediately the herd's
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
And I just kind of think that's beautiful too.
Animals have souls, guys. They have souls. I believe that 100%. Cats, dogs, goats, sheep, you name it.
Dude, just watching like this baby elephant cry when its mom got poached. It was like the saddest thing I ever saw. Like this human's comforting it and it's just sitting there like tears and bawling its eyes out. I was like, that's
Yeah. Even cats, dogs, like they'll cry sometimes. Like I'm just like, what the fuck? Like,
You know how they say that like you have all these best friends in your lifetime, but
mhm.
you're your dog's only best friend for its whole lifetime. And
Yeah.
it feels the same way when you get home every day, like you are the love of its life and just filled up its cup.
Yeah.
Like it's like
It's so great.
it's the best day
Ever.
ever. Every day that you come home is the new best day ever.
Ever. Yeah.
Have you guys seen the videos of like the two dogs FaceTiming that are friends? Like dogs that are like owned by two different people in real life and the owners FaceTimed. And the
And
dogs were so fucking happy. They were like both doing circles all over their living room, like barking at each other, just happy to see each other. I was like,
I'm
this is
telling you.
so funny. Like what you can do with like even animals can benefit from FaceTime. How weird is that?
Sometimes humans don't deserve animals in that sense. Like what they do to them sometimes, it's like you nasty. Like recently, I read an article of like 8 men. I don't want to be that person to be like talking downer, but like 8 men raped a pregnant goat in India to death. Gang raped her, a pregnant goat. Like this is what they do to animals, and I'm like, "Ugh, they're so precious, and look what you guys do to them. Like you're not rapey enough. You want to go rape animals too.
Yucky.
That's how centaurs are made.
It's just yucky. Like,
It's
like
disgusting.
where is that even in your bucket list of things? Like if you lived, how many lifetimes would it take to you to get to let me fuck a goat? Like this is the weird fucking perverse thing when people are like, you guys, we're all the same. Don't walk around and act like you're not you're better than anyone. No, you're better than a lot of people out there.
Yeah, you
It's
are.
okay if you walk around like you're better than a lot of motherfuckers out there, because there's some motherfuckers out there that'll rape a goat to death.
Yeah, a pregnant one at that.
Like
Like,
it's like that shit is retarded. Like that shit is like wild.
And then they gang rape it, so you're getting sloppy seconds and 13th.
Dude,
Yeah, you
I
can't even go
swear.
get your own goat.
This is real news. Go Google it, or matter of fact, don't do it. Don't do it.
I feel like there's a country, and I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in South America, and it's like a plague of how many men like rape sheep. Like it's just normal that men are just going around raping sheep, but the women encourage it because their rape is down.
Oh God. Like
I feel like you can look
might
it
help
up. It's a
the
country in
AIDS
South
epidemic
America.
in
I'm not
South-
making it up. I just
Since
don't remember what one.
even South Africa, you know where the AIDS epidemic is because women get raped all the time. Like
Yeah, no, I don't want animals to go through that either, though.
That's the other thing I will tell you. When this is a big, huge thing. This is how you know, like, the AIDS came from monkeys. No one's going around fucking a monkey. A monkey will tear you up. Like, no one
yeah.
is raping
they will kill
monkeys.
you. They'll murder your ass.
They will just rip at your ears off, your dick off, your nose off, your eyeballs out. Everything that is an orifice, monkeys will just eat it.
And
Like,
bite it off, yeah.
they are no joke. Like, no one's raping a monkey to get AIDS. That's like the silliest story I ever heard. Not one person in the 80s stopped and was like, dang, who is the ballsy, brash, like strong motherfucker that could rape a monkey?
Oh, it'll tear you apart before that could happen. It'll rip your penis off. Or
Like,
something.
what the hell? Yeah, like what in the world?
Dude, You know what else I saw that was crazy? There's a town, I don't know where in Africa, but there's so many fucking mosquitoes there that everyone in town like starts collecting them and catching them, and they make mosquito pot patties and they fucking eat them.
I saw that too. That's so nasty.
I was just like, oh my lord, why would you want to eat fucking Bill Gates technology?
No one around here thinks that there is.
What? There's no
Somebody
AIDS, girls.
screamed, "There's no AIDS, girls!" Like, yeah, we know. We're all hip to Dr. Fauci games around here.
Wait, what do you mean there's no AIDS?
Well, like HIV and AIDS have nothing to do with
It's
each other, and AIDS is
it's the
just saying
cure.
this is an autoimmune disorder. And
It's
then,
a cure. It's the drug.
yeah, the drugs is just like killing, but also like all the autoimmune disorders. This is why we get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because all the autoimmune disorders are just from stuff we're not allowed to talk about. I just need to make a picture that can come across the screen that just has a whole bunch of needles going spurt, spurt, spurt. But yeah, it's just another autoimmune disorder created by wacky. It created by Big Pharma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable. They love us so much, y'all. Big Pharma loves us so much, just so you know. They
Well,
care about you so much.
They care about your money.
Thank you.
yeah, like Dallas Buyers Club is a good Hollywood whitewash.
They
of where
want to
start.
take your health under control. They want to keep your health under control, not you take care of your own health and have it under control.
Look at this insane audience. Let me just put up this comment here that, oh my gosh, that is crazy.
Wild.
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 Yeah, that's the new thing. When we'll just be like, because you guys know, and then somebody in the chat will type it, and then we'll just put it up. We didn't even say it.
We didn't say anything.
Jeez.
I love Fauci. I love him so much.
Remember
he was
when
right
this
on
is so
everything.
funny to me that there are people out there for real that were like so excited and they were into it, and that Dr. Fauci was voted the sexiest man alive.
Oh my god.
Do you know that
Sorry,
there's
somebody said mic check, so I had to like play into that.
Do you know there's two people who are still on lockdown who are deciding to stay on lockdown in their houses? There are two people in New York City who are still in motherfucking lockdown. Do you hear me? How
Y'all-
fucking insane is that?
I wish I could just stay home.
Self-isolation. They're just in their houses. They're not leaving. They're terrified.
That's insane.
I
They
know
must have like a
dildos that
agoraphobia or
they're
something.
getting the sniffles and they're like taking 10 full fucking days off work still.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
They don't even allow that here
What
now.
the
I got a positive COVID
People-
test. They're still
doing the test
testing.
here and they're going,
they could get off work.
24 hours after you're done running fever, you need to be back.
Oh my gosh. I feel like getting like little tiny plastic ants and putting them on the end of a Q-tip and being like, what's this mean? Like, I'm staying home today.
Yeah.
Parasites.
Oh my gosh. I was just raised different. Like, I can't imagine just being a lazy sack of shit. I was just raised different. I wasn't raised to be like, oh, and just put your hand out and then somebody's going to put something in it and take care of you. Like, nobody in life ever taught me that. It's such a wild concept. And then
I
you
taught
guys
myself, yeah.
imagine, here's the concept, and then you're going to put your hand out and the government's going to put something in it. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
That's insane. And you don't know what it is either. It's like, hey, you can juice me up, baby. Juice me up. And you have no idea what's in it. But you
I know,
like,
and I was just thinking of government cheese when you said that. I wasn't even thinking about that shit.
Oh,
and
I was thinking about that.
If you're on like shitty, if you have I feel like we're gonna go. I can't. I already want to stop.
I want
I'm
to
like,
so bad.
Okay,
the
because
idea that your jab comes out of a different fucking fridge than somebody with that good insurance is wild.
Wild. Oh
I was gonna
my
say about
god.
government cheese though, like the Native Americans on commodities, a lot of them are very obese.
And
Don't tell me
mothers
that
too,
that's
though.
not freaking.
Mothers too are listening to doctors with C-sections. Okay, fucking crazy. I think it went up 800% compared to 1998. 800% C-sections and inducing pregnancies for no fucking reason. Because guess what? Do you know how much it costs to have a C-section? 70 grand. Regular birth, way cheaper. And y'all
It's
are falling for it.
there's a lot of women. I think it's
Forcing
crazy.
pregnancies. It's
It's
insane.
crazy to me when somebody opts to have a C-section when you can just have a
Push.
baby and be gone out of the hospital the next day. Because as a woman, I've had three vaginal births and I've had 2 C-sections, and like I remember watching the women in the hospital who had a C-section and they walked with these little baby steps. And I'm like, y'all are weak. I would never look like that. I'm gonna like if I had a C-section, I would never look like that. Then I had to have my first C-section because I my water broke 2 months early, so I was in the hospital for 2 weeks on, like, drugs to get steroids and try to keep me pregnant and all of that, and, um, by then, I couldn't even lift my head off the bed, so I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna be able to push out a baby," so they did a C-section, and, the second I was able to get out of bed 12 hours later, I couldn't walk. I like, little tiny baby steps that feel like every step feels like your gut's gonna come out, and then yeah,
For
it's
those
a
reasons,
huge
it makes
surgery.
sense.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, but well, yeah, but, it does make sense, but I'm saying women are choosing because they're like, "Oh, well, I can just plan it." Like, I can just plan it,
They
and
can plan
I had
it.
a friend who literally said,
They
"Cave women have sex or have give birth vaginally," and I'm like, "Cave
Well,
women? Excuse
that
me?"
no, this is the other thing. They believe it keeps their pussy tight. It's a pussy shaming thing that if you've had too many kids that you're just walking around with like a big Montana beef curtains. And
"Oh, do
so
your Kegel
also the doctor
exercises."
can get off like I can walk into a room every hour and do a C-section whereas if the 3 of us were all giving vaginal birth, we all could be in those rooms for 24 hours, 48
36,
hours. Yeah,
70.
depending on how long it takes us to dilate. The hospital doesn't make money by waiting for nature.
And this is
Thank
what's
So
shitty
you.
too now, is that a lot of states, like Oklahoma is one of them, or actually maybe it's just certain hospitals, but they won't do a vaginal birth after a cesarean. So, like, my last one, I was like, "Hell no, I want a vaginal birth, I don't wanna do a cesarean again," and they're like, "Sorry, we don't do that." And actually my friend, my esthetician, she tried to have a VBAC too, and they were like, "We don't have the right staff to do a VBAC," and I was like, I literally, was gonna stay at home. I was like, "Fuck that. I am staying home. I will accidentally have my baby at home, and then I'll go to the hospital." That was my plan with my last one. I was like, "I'm not gonna go through that surgery again. That was fucking horrible." And my water broke 6 weeks early, so I had to go to the hospital because I was gonna have a preemie again, so
Yeah, it's not right. Like you should just like wait till the gravity, not gravity, but the natural, because gravity is not real. The natural process.
gravity is you'll
It's
catch
fucking
gravity when
fake.
you catch AIDS.
Thank you.
You'll
Thank you.
make sure you get your AIDS and gravity booster.
Thank you. So just let nature do its thing and be patient. I know you want to go have that cocktail, but like do the right thing for your child. Like literally do the right thing for your child. It is the best. I haven't had a child, but from what I am understanding, it's just healthier for your child to exit the way it's supposed to exit. Don't
It's
cut take
all
sh- don't
this
take
is the number one
shortcuts.
thing too. When you rush that process, the oxytocin doesn't get released in the mother or the baby.
And you
So
get
that oxytocin, when it's flooded into the mother's system, they call it the protection beautiful. You think that thing is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, and you're going to protect it with your life. This is like all madly released from the mother. And so if this isn't all released sometimes, I always wonder with induction, with epidurals, with everything that they do to fuck with natural childbirth. And I also know there are places for medical procedures all over the world, but everything they do to mess with natural childbirth, I also wonder how much it has to do with postpartum depression for the women as well, when they don't get to go through their natural whole thing, have all their oxytocin released, hold their baby right away, get to go through their own process of their milk coming out without having to be okay, we're gonna have you out of this hospital in about 3 hours. So if you can go ahead and get that baby to latch, that'd be great. And then it's the pressure. Now she thinks she's a bad mom because she can't be like, ugh.
It's
Like,
terrible.
Well, okay, I got a lot to say about that because having a preemie too and a C-section, so they take my baby to the intensive care nursery, and I'm stuck in a bed for 12 hours till I'm allowed to get out of bed. So I had people coming in the hospital like, "Oh, we saw your baby. She's so cute." And I'm like, "Fuck you guys." I was getting so pissed because I didn't even get to see my own baby. And then I go in and I finally get to see her, and I have to scrub in and then put on rubber gloves, and I can only touch her head and her butt like this, like squeeze her like this. I wasn't allowed to actually like touch her or anything. It was like I couldn't hold her for 3 days. It was the stupidest shit ever. I was so
and you are all the baby should be around. You are all the baby.
yeah,
The only the
and they're
baby should
telling
be
me what I can
smelling.
do.
The baby can't see anything except for like the baby's eyes develop from closeness to far away because it should only be seeing its mommy and daddy. That should be the only things, the things that are up close to it with its face and its face and nose to nose. You can't touch your baby
Keeping
for
it warm.
3 days.
Yeah, I know. When I finally held her, I mean, that was, like, probably the hardest I've ever cried. Hardest I've ever cried. It was,
It's a
like, such a relief
spiritual
to finally hold
moment
her.
too.
And
Like,
she didn't cry. Actually, she didn't cry for 3 days, and then after I held her, the day after I held her, the doctor was like, "Oh my god, is that Brianna crying?" Because she was finally crying in the hospital when I wasn't there.
hmm.
So
What?
Nothing. Just reading the chat. Some people are silly.
What they say?
I identify as a cat. Just FYI. That's funny.
Remember when that politician or that person was on the thing that like they were talking to the judge or whatever and they were like, I am not a cat. Like it was during COVID and that screen came on, like all the filters and he was like trying to talk to a judge seriously, but like let's say
Oh yeah. What's his name? What the fuck is his name, man?
I don't know, it was during the exact same time frame that the guy on CNN was on a panel show and jerking off.
Oh my god.
Remember that? And then he still has his job. I think his last name is
No,
Tubin or
didn't he?
Tobin.
Didn't he quit, or did we hire him, or
Yeah.
didn't he fire him, or something like that? No. Okay.
Can you imagine? That is such a dumb shit. Like, I would never even have to think, can you imagine if that happened to you? Because I would never fucking jerk off at a work meeting and even think, like, you know what I'm going to do right now?
I'm
Rub
horny
one
right now.
out.
Let me just pull my dick out. Oh my god! Like you can't wait. Like
did
you
you see
can't
that?
wait.
Fucking animal.
Did you see that one, I don't know, it was a TikTok or a reel, but it's also like a Zoom conference call, and this girl didn't turn her camera off, and her boyfriend comes in, and they're sitting there going at it on the couch, and they're like, "Should somebody try to call her? Somebody call her."
Oh my god, nightmare.
Oh my god, I
I'll be
know.
right there. I'll be right there.
Did you forget to pre-roll?
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't
This
have
cat.
any papers. I forgot to get stopped.
I can't help myself with like cats. Like
I went and ate some delicious food
she's just
instead.
overload. You need to get off me because you're distracting me. Go. Thank you very much. I can't. Like I have to like constantly, love it.
I have to shut them out of here to get my attention right
Mm.
off.
They
So
do.
what else? What else was I going to tell you? I saw Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Funny
how
you
was
said
that?
brought up Blue Chew in the comments, just inside joke, but
How was it?
If you're a Tim Burton fan, the art of it, the cinematography is true to form. Catherine O'Hara is still the best thing. She was the best thing in the first Beetlejuice. I don't want to give anything away, but I'm a big, huge. You have to give people a romantic death to me. The bigger the character, the more romantic the death. I don't care if it's a villain or a hero. Like the Khaleesi, shit death on Game of Thrones. You know who had the worst death though of every death ever? The greatest villain on scene of all time was the goddamn Cersei. She was the best villain, and all she just got crumbled with her fucking brother in the fucking dungeon. That's it. That was her death. That's bullshit. That's how
she
I feel
deserves
about.
such a
I
freaking
I don't
greater
want to
death.
give anything away. Well, I can tell you this because Alec
Yeah.
Baldwin and Gina Davis aren't in it. The Maitlands, this is how they explain the Maitlands away. This is all you get of the fucking whole Maitlands. They found a loophole in the system, so they're not here anymore. And then we just move on.
They found a loophole and that's it.
And it
That's
seems
it.
like
They're not there.
they were supposed to be content to live in their house forever.
That was the whole point. They didn't want to
Yeah.
sell.
They didn't want to leave their home.
So yeah, I'm like, I hate when they give characters like a great character bullshit deaths. And I don't give a fuck about Alec Baldwin and him
That's why I
murdering a
hate
Russian
part
spy.
twos.
Like, you want to murder a Russian spy and never to be seen from again? Cool. Can we get Gina Davis? Can we get Gina Davis? I know there's no crying in Beetlejuice, but can I get a little Gina Davis?
But why even make a part two? Like, you fuck up the whole like idea of what part one is. Like,
Dude,
just leave it alone. Like,
because they need to
be
put this
creative.
Ortega girl everywhere as the
Yeah.
new goth girl. They need to
new
sell her to us
Queen.
as the new Winona Ryder. So for her to take her whole essence, they have to be in this film. And Winona Ryder in this film sucks. She's almost playing the mother on Stranger Things and not Lydia Deetz. She's even one point in it, Catherine O'Hara's like, where's the smart mouth little goth girl that I grew up with, or some shit, where I'm like, true? Like, this doesn't feel like the character Lydia Deetz. It feels like a whiny, I don't know, Winona Ryder.
Karen.
And she wasn't whiny at all. She was like, "Are
She
you
was
Night of the Living
not
Dead in
scared
there?
of
Are you
death at
whatever in
all.
there?" Yeah.
And they make Lydia like she's a ghost hunter, like a famous like internet ghost hunter.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it feels like Beetlejuice to me had like 10 storylines that it didn't need. There was like this whole villain put in it that didn't need to be there, but they needed to put like some way to make Beetlejuice scared because he could even die. Like dead past the dead. So I'm like, I thought that was what the sandworms were. I don't
Yeah.
know. They just met. It was like some parts they could have
fucked it
really,
up.
yeah, some parts they could have played with Jack and Sally a little bit and played with that whole lore. And they chose not to. And then I'm like, is this, they almost used a Bride of Frankenstein.
I hate this world. I hate
Did you
this
ever
new
watch
world.
the Beetlejuice cartoon?
Yeah.
I kind of liked
Yeah.
it. It was way far removed from the movie, but it was interesting.
They pay homage a little bit to that too.
Oh, do they?
And they
Okay.
pay homage to the movie. Like, there was parts I laughed out loud. I mean, I was glad I went and saw it. But I keep going back to the Saturn and the sandworms of it all.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like the sands of time on one of the moons of Saturn.
I posted a recent video that blew my mind today.
Okay.
It's a mom showing what these moms are letting their 5-year-old daughters wear in their underwear. And it's little fucking bulges for little 5-year-olds to wear in their panties. So they can have a bulge, so they can slowly transition their children to thinking that they're boys.
Oh, that's what that was. I just saw the video like right as we were like, coming in,
That's
and I
what
was
that
like, what?
is.
I didn't have the audio on.
Fucking insane. This is real. And she
It's
actually
perverse in a way.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
perverse.
I did a voiceover with
Like, you may as well be a pedophile if you're gonna do that.
I went, yeah.
It's
I'm
just
sorry.
perverse. You're sexualizing a child.
Yeah.
You are doing that. Like, that is so wild.
It's fucking insane. I was blown away when I saw it. I'm like, what mothers out there, like, you're probably in my generation, probably. Where'd you learn this from? Why are you supporting this? I know you don't want to traumatize your child and like slap them in the ass or something, or you didn't think that was okay. But sometimes, sometimes a slap on the tushy. No, you're a girl. No, you're a boy. Like, get that shit out of your head. That's okay to do. Like, that's your child.
Or I don't even know if you even have. I just feel like kids go through phases.
No, at this point,
what I think is happening, it's not a 5-year-old at school that's getting the idea that there's something. It's the parent pushing something because the kid's
what I'm
like,
saying.
I want to wear blue today. Oh, Are you a little boy? Do you want to be a little boy? Because they need something to fucking
parents
spill
then.
tea with their fucking other Karen moms at the yoga studio.
But see,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
I'm glad my mom would only let me
This
wear
is
blue.
white
She was
people shit
so like
too.
that.
This is white
That's what
people
I'm
shit.
saying.
Like this is white people shit. Like this is something like what in the fuck is going on? Like you have so little like interesting thing you have to transition your fucking child like
Well, that's
before.
what gets me
I'm
is
not
that I
allowing
was the
that. I'm
girl,
sorry.
like okay, because I played with
Take
little
that
boys
dress off.
across the street, so I'd see them, like, pee outside and stuff, like, I wasn't looking, but, I mean, I could see that what they were doing. They're standing and peeing, and I only had sisters at the point. So, I remember, like, trying to stand and pee and, like, over the toilet and everything, I made a mess everywhere, I got in big trouble. So, like, could you imagine my mom was like, "Oh, she needs a little bulge in her pants." Like, thank God.
Oh my god. Dude, I was this little kid. This little
I got
kid
in
that you
trouble.
see in front of you, like this little sometimes I had long hair. Sometimes I had long hair with a baseball hat backward. My poor mom. She tried to take me shopping. She tried to make me wear frilly and lacy and poofy and pink.
I wish my
And
mom would let me do that.
this fucking poor woman. She didn't even know what to do with me. I was always this little kid. Guess what? I still wasn't a little boy. Still wasn't a
No,
motherfucking
you're a
little
girl.
boy. So everything about me and who I am as a woman, right, wrong, or indifferent, that would have made big pharma come in, my parents allow it, and then me all of a sudden forever from whenever they decided 12, 10, 13, 16, forever to always be a customer of big pharma, to always be sick, to always need to go to the doctors, to always need to get tests, to always see what's going on. That is wild to me that you would decide that for your child. And you're deciding the younger they are, the more probability that you are making your child infertile.
Oh my god. Yeah,
That's
put this little
insane.
plastic latex things down their pants. That's smart.
Like just it, once you start giving them testosterone
I
hormones
have
and
a
start
fit
fucking with
stomach.
that shit, the younger they are, if they can't go through puberty naturally, you are potentially making them infertile. That seems like like it's so many wild levels of cruel to take away that from somebody, their ability to procreate when they're 5, 6, 7 years old.
Don't do the needle juice
I'm sorry.
because that will
I can't
also do
handle
that.
that. No way. If I find that someone gave my little kid a prosthetic, let's say, oh, and they're teaching this shit in school, and my child is having that idea already that they're confused about their gender at 5, no, my child is not going to have that thought anymore. Like, this is a world of conditioning. Okay, I'm going to condition my child to make sure that they know that they're a fucking female. Point blank and period. I'm not playing this fucking game. Like, this is reality. You're a female. You're a male. You
And
have
you'd
a
be like,
vagina. You
if
have
you're
a
gonna be
penis.
a
You don't. I will show you. I will show you.
you're even if you're a
That.
bronacia,
I'm not playing.
you're
Yeah.
like you might be a bronacia, but you're a fucking bitch. You're
You're a
still a
bitch.
girl.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like that's the whole there's just this certain part, but I think the washes is eventually if we can get a kid to identify and let them identify however they want. Let's say a kid wants to identify as a goat and then we make bestiality legal.
Fuck out of
Now
here.
I what? This kid's
Sick.
just identifying as a goat. I'm just fucking goats. Like this
That's
is the
sick.
weird shit that I think this is the same thing of like New York being like, oh, you can get an abortion when a kid's so old. Like when the kid, you can get an abortion 2 months after birth, like whatever the rule is. And really, that's just because eventually, if I identify as a woman and I'm found killing a baby, I just had an abortion.
Yeah.
It's just all loophole words so they can get away with doing atrocities later on that have nothing to do with the like one little exception to the rule arguments that they try to tell you about. Well, what
Mhm.
if someone's raped by their father? Like that's always the thing that they argue with abortion. But
Yeah.
really it's not because of that. Like
Sutter House rules.
why is how much money how is it that Planned Parenthood makes more money from the aborted fetuses than the abortions?
You know
Yeah, it's
what is a
so
big
weird.
problem in today's society? And I know this is a big controversial topic, but there's not enough discipline. And honestly, I've been through fucking, I mean, I was abused, okay? But look at me. I, not to toot my own horn, but I came out a really good individual. Yes, I had my hardships. Yeah, I've been through a lot, but I'm so grateful for all of it. All of the fucking beatings, because I have like logic and reasoning and right and wrong and knowing what is real, what is true. Like, I'm a fucking female. I have my masculine traits, but without that discipline from my mom and dad of like, hey, you're on the wrong path, and they did it in their way, but some form of discipline works. It helps. It's not something bad, but the point, when you're going to the point of abuse, that's when it gets bad. There's types of discipline that you can work with children so they don't fear you, but they fear you in a way out of respect, because you are the elder. There's not enough respect for elders in today's society, and I see that, and that's a problem. And yeah, I don't want to sound like super old school, but that, I see it, and that's the problem. The discipline, the respect isn't there anymore for elders. The respect of what the elder is saying to the child, they know better. Okay, it's like, okay, 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 and then they go roam free. And now look at our children today. They're doing whatever the fuck they want. Look at the classrooms, Abbie. You know it. You see it. So I think that's where, the paddle's probably not such a bad idea sometimes.
But we use that in school here.
Just
But
saying.
but don't you think like some of the beatings that are happening in general, like if that's like it's almost like there's a lack of time. There used to be always a parent in the house and there used to be somebody around, and now there is no time, and everybody, it's like people, everybody's frustrated, everybody has anxiety, and so there is no discipline. There's not a level of discipline that's happening to parents, and then like kids going through phases shouldn't have to be disciplined. Like kids, like it's almost like the adult world is the one putting these things, and then the teachers, like what they're allowed to teach in school and how quickly curriculum was allowed to change and all that stuff, that is like complete, like parents can't even afford to have time to care. Their whole entire life is a headline. Like everybody's just trying to get by. More than a third of their life they're at some fucking job they hate, and even if they take their whole paycheck home, it doesn't get them what they need. It's like, and then there's two parents doing that. And so it's like some parts of it, I don't know if it's just a discipline or it's like there's no parent around. So then the kid's fucking lonely. It just wants to feel a sense of belonging. And so the way it feels a sense of belonging usually is with its clique of friends. So then if any one clique of in that, if they start cutting themselves, the group starts cutting. If they start, we're all going to start wearing plaid skirts on Wednesday. They all start wearing plaid skirts on Wednesday. If one of them's like, I'm going to call myself a them they and start taking tea, everybody does. It's like this thing in school. It's just some sense of belonging. It's the same reason people join gangs. It's
Yeah,
because their
because they
family isn't
family
even there. And so
family unit's gone.
it's not even that I'm like, I don't agree with discipline or beatings, but no offense to a family who's not even there. Don't fucking show up, and the only time you're going to show up is to discipline. You're not
Yeah,
around
Yeah.
at all, mom and dad. Why don't you learn how
that's
to
true.
like do all the
Well,
things, the other
I feel like
things
that was
first?
the big issue with a lot of the kids that I grew up with. Like my mom was home. She stayed at home. She was always, she
My
was
mom
in the
too.
house, and all these other kids, like they were able to do whatever the hell they wanted because they were all latchkey kids, So by the time they outgrew latchkey, they were doing whatever they wanted until they had to be home because their parents were finally home or
Yeah, and
whatever.
if I didn't listen to my mom, poof, bop, bop, bop.
Yeah, I
I was
wasn't
out of order. That. What? What? You went missing? You were supposed to be home when the lights came on? What? Where were you? Don't
same.
do it again. And did I do it again? Nope.
Yeah, I had, I grew up pretty strict, but then there was also a period of my life really too young where my parents, um, they were nouveau riche and they were just never in the country. And so they would just leave and they'd be like, here's money and we'll be back in 3 weeks. And so by the time I was 15, it was like, if anything happens to me and your father when we're gone, like I had to go sit with a lawyer and I would have been emancipated and then my brother was mine.
Hmm.
So it was like at 15, my 13-year-old brother was mine if anything happened to my parents. So they
Hmm.
were gone so much that eventually that house was my house and the rule over him was my rule. And I also felt like when they came back in town sometimes, they fucked up my raising of him. Like everything wrong with him now. No offense if you're watching this.
You're a wonderful person,
Everything wrong with
Listen,
him
I
now, in
called
my
out my
opinion.
parents. They beat the fuck out of me.
I feel like he would say this. He would say I was a stricter parent to him than my parents were. Like I didn't want him to party all the time. I didn't want him to be around older kids. I didn't want him to like I was strict to him, but then my parents would come to town and kind of let anything happen, like anything go down. And so it was just like they were almost Disneyland parents in a way. Because they weren't there. So when they came into town and tried to discipline, there it was only a certain few times of them being gone that we were both like, who are you? Like, you can't just be here to
Come back here and
discipline me.
be a
Yeah, like
parent.
we're taking care of ourselves all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now we have a bedtime. Now we
Yeah.
have to eat dinner as a family. Get over yourselves. That
Yeah.
sounds so silly. So I think consistency is so big. If you want to discipline your child, you also have to love your child. Like
Yeah.
you also have to show up for your child. You also have to be there all the other times in between.
Yeah.
And before otherwise the discipline is just abuse.
My mom
Yeah.
my mom did all of that. Thank God. Like she was always a part of everything I did as a kid. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. Everything she went through, everything I went through, we went through it together. My dad, not so much, like because he was working a lot. But at home at night, he was there doing the dad thing, hanging out with us. But
I'm gonna talk
when
shit
things
about my
got
dead
ugly,
dad for a second.
do
I'm gonna talk shit because
it, do it.
dead people become saints, and I don't think that should be a thing. This is
I
why you
agree.
can't heal from a
Yeah.
lot of your trauma is because somebody dies, and then you're like, oh fuck, this abusive motherfucker. I can't ever like heal from any of that because all of a sudden it's like, saint, whoever they just passed away. And so I always just like to validate to people, like, no, you're still allowed to talk about the shitty things that
Yeah,
they did.
absolutely.
I forgot what the point, the shitty thing I was gonna say about my dad was because of that whole rant. You were just talking about something
That
with your
happened when my
mom.
kid's dad died, though. The same thing. It was like he died, and my kids actually, I told him, "You're allowed to still feel however you want to feel. If you don't feel sad, that's okay too." And his family came and visited, and they totally sainted him. And my kids are like, that's not who he was. Like, I was so glad that they were able to keep that um objectivity, or they knew.
What I
So
was saying was like the good and my mom was there for the good, the bad, the ugly. I was there. She was there for everything. I was there for everything and her shit. And then you said, I got to talk shit about my dad real quick. My
I
dead
know.
dad.
I know. Fuck.
I'm like
I
trying
wish
to. You don't
I
remember?
know.
I thought that was gonna
I
help.
was like talk shit, and I was
yeah,
like,
talking shit about a
I
dead
don't
person
know.
would help too. But
Yeah, that's a sign not to say it.
I know it'll
He's
come up
like,
again if it should.
Chaney, nope,
Zap.
zap.
I know, but it
which God
is.
was that?
No, it is kind of the part of the healing from grief, I think sometimes is because you have to be able to kind of call out the bullshit and you have to say it to the people who can validate that it is real. And so when people are all like, oh, don't say that. How, don't say that about it. You're like, get
Mhm.
the fuck,
Yeah.
get the fuck
Like
out of
It
here.
you
happened.
reach a level of understanding that you don't mourn them anymore, you celebrate them. Like when you're in like a mourning state, it's just like but when you start celebrating them, you talk about the good, the bad, it's just like a celebration of memories that you had and special moments that you had with them because you don't remember all things and all moments. So the ones that you do are like moments of celebrations of moments. So that's how to look at it. You just celebrate them after a while.
Yeah, I just think it's real.
Mm-hmm.
It's just real life. We all are, even in my little stage where I was dying, there was a time like I was really locked off and I wasn't talking to anyone. Like I wasn't speaking to anyone. I was just in like a dark room and I was just dying and being like skinny and sad. And then I was like, oh, like if my end of my life, like if my legacy is this, I don't want that. Like every single day could be your day that could be your day. That could be your last day in the
And
flesh.
everyone should live like that, really. You should remember that every day.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, I don't want people to remember me
Dude,
this way.
I think everyone should like write that on their ceiling. Like wake up and that's the first thing you fucking see. Or if you or like on each angle that you could possibly each way that you possibly could wake up so you can see that and then boom, you get this jolt of energy like a reminder. Okay, let me go just fucking do it. Let me go do what I need to do. That I think it'll give everybody a jolt. They could just see that first thing they wake up.
Today could be your day.
Uh-huh.
That
Live
sounds
like
like
it's your
a
live
positive thing
today like
because,
it's your last.
yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like something positive that you a
Because that
positive
gave
quote.
me a jolt. Like, oh my God, like tomorrow, like what if I'm not here tomorrow? Like,
See,
but
your
we never
prophecy
think
would
like that.
be like she lived today like it was her day until it was. That would be like how the gods would give you a prophecy, but it would
Yeah,
be
and
so
it's
much
like,
Yeah.
bigger than just that.
yeah, damn.
Until it was. uh doesn't there's like certain deaths on Beetlejuice too. We see like shrunken heads or we see shark deaths and things like that. And or you see like, and if I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have had my little accident. See, they missed out. Miss Argentina wasn't there. I
She
will
was
say
cute.
that. I didn't see Miss Argentina anywhere.
I liked her.
But I think like those kind of things too, sometimes I always feel weird talking about suicide in this kind of way, but it just seems like I know a lot of people are like, that is like the only contract you have with God, like, is that you're not allowed to kill yourself. But then sometimes it feels like, i- are you allowed to tell anybody else what their timeline is, like what their thing is, what their answers are, it seems to
Well,
like
okay.
even saying the word, I feel like I could get in trouble and a mark for even saying
Well, you
that word,
can
the same as
because
vaccines.
you can actually because what's his name? Leo Skeppy, he has a pretty big channel and a big following, but he'll say offing, un un unliving yourself, unaliving.
Unaliving yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I've gotten in trouble for it before, so I'll just say unaliving. But so yeah, even he gets like in trouble on YouTube.
Sometimes I feel like that's some kind of like a lie, and maybe that's like the trick that they don't want everyone to know about. It's like that's how you truly escape from the chain. Is like you become the decider because you are part of God and you can decide when you want to go and not let this earth decide when you want to go.
Well, I don't think that's the ultimate answer, but if you look at it in the whole, let's say there's soul contracts, like you're here to level up yourself and to level up somebody else. Like we have a contract on the other side. Like Layla, I need to learn, you know, self-forgiveness in this lifetime, or will you help me out? And you're like, um, yeah, well, I've got to learn to forgive someone. So like we come here and I'm like, I drunk drive and I hit you and you're paralyzed your whole life. So you have to learn like a high level of forgiveness in this lifetime, and I have to learn to forgive myself. Like that was the whole purpose of this accident happening, so we
Mm.
can level up ourselves like on a more spiritual plane. But don't you think that in that same way that unaliving yourself could be that for somebody else? Like that's something they needed to grow as a person. So in a sense I'm saying it's not necessary. I'm not saying anyone should do that. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that what if that was what
They're
one of the
like,
big things
don't do it, guys.
one of the big things you did come here to do, you know?
Yes, you.
Abby is
This is
not
just for
condoning
entertainment purposes.
unaliving yourself
Don't do that.
on this
This is
Tuesday
just
I
morning
know I've
one.
known too
conversation.
many people, like, a lot of the people I grew up with did that. So,
Yeah, so did I. And I don't necessarily consider these people weak because that's probably the hardest fucking thing to possibly fucking do is
yeah.
like, hey, I'm deciding that I just want to just off myself. You don't just think to do that. That's like a decision that like you make with yourself, and it's a serious one probably. I can't fathom that like idea anymore. Like I did when I was younger, but I was a kid. Like you go through fucking hormones. God knows what the fuck I was
Mhm.
going through, you know? So now when I analyze, I'm just like, man, you gotta really, really, really know. Like, either you don't know what you're doing, or you really know what you're fucking doing.
Well, and I will say this though. When I'm old enough and I'm shitting myself, I will unalive myself. And I think that's fair. I mean,
So
if there is
your
a God, he
whole
should be fucking
happiness of
merciful.
life is a tight butthole?
I am not gonna have somebody else clean up my shit. Just not gonna do it.
Like, that's it? I know some really great one of them that of recent is a nice older gentleman who happened to poop his pants,
Oh, well,
leaving
if it happens, like, once on occasion, that's
Yeah,
different than
but
doing it multiple
Abby,
times a day
Oh,
every
okay,
day.
you
what's
gotta
wrong?
you're like, "I just shit myself once,
No. Oh my
Chaney.
god, people that
Stop!"
happens,
And
okay?
I'm like, "Hey, Abby." You're like, "I just shit
No.
myself once."
When you no longer have control of your bowels, like, I'm
Yeah,
not
but
gonna be that
Abby,
person.
Abby, what's the difference of like you doing that for your children and your children doing that for you? Like, this is what I mean.
I've
Like,
done it for an old person,
yeah, so
so I don't want anybody to ever have to do that for
why
me.
not?
I just
Why
don't.
not? Why?
Never.
Like,
I
fuck
will
yeah!
not
Like
want
all that
somebody to do
shit.
that.
Somebody wipe my ass
That's
now.
something in you that needs to heal this lifetime.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
It
yeah.
is because you have a problem with getting old in general. Like
No, no.
you're
I
scared
just
of it almost. Like in talks that we've had. Like it's like you want to like you fight like you think that you can. It's like part of your verbiage. And I even think like that part, like
it's
being
not a
the
fight. That's the thing is that you don't have to fight aging. It's about the fact that it's also a pendulum. That's the thing is it's a mind trap just like everything else. Is that we think we have to do it a certain way. That we have to do it at a certain time and that at a certain point your vision is going to go bad and at a certain point like I don't accept that as a rule. And as a result, I still am like I've been told by so many people at the age of 40 your eyesight's going to go bad. I'm 44. I can still see without glasses. I can still read. I don't have to hold stuff away from my face. Everything is fine because I don't accept that. It's different than being fearful of it. Like I accept that like I'm going to age. But I also believe that there are a lot of things that you can do and instead of just being in the state of acceptance, it's like accepting that you're going to be fat. You don't have to accept being fat. You can do exercises for your face and guess what? Your face isn't going to sag like a lot of people because you have muscle on your head and in your face. Like it's not that you have to fight these things. It's just that you don't have to accept the narrative that you're being sold either. It's not going to be a face cream. It's not going to be all these other little things, but there are things that you can do to enjoy a quality of life, including like Kegel muscles so you don't piss yourself. But like yeah, when it comes down to shitting yourself, I'm sorry. I don't want to live my life like that. Like
Well, what if you like look amazing, feel amazing, you could walk, you could talk, you could all that, and all of a sudden, oh my god, my anus it's not working anymore. You still want to off yourself? I wouldn't. I'd wear a fucking diaper
yeah.
proudly. Brat.
I just think
Somebody
if you
wash
can
my
clean
ass,
yourself up,
please.
if
Thank you.
you can
Toss the
clean
and
yourself
salad.
this
up,
is
that's
also the thing
fine.
with aging a little bit. And this is a little trauma thing that I think. In your life somewhere, maybe you weren't taken care of when you needed to be. So you don't trust that anyone will be there to take care of you. So you're like, just off me because once I'm too old to do it, like just, but
And I
I
don't
will
want to
just
be a
tell you,
burden
because
to
I was that
somebody.
person too. Like I didn't want to burden anyone. And I was like, nope. And I worked in nursing homes. So I saw what they became. And then when I had cancer, and then I needed people to be there for me and actually being in my weakest little fucking body, it made me like, oh, like sometimes you need to be you like the same way you said we're all in these paths and sometimes you come back because you're the person that like, oh, you live in a wheelchair so I can learn how to forgive myself. Sometimes other people need to take care of you.
Hmm.
Well, and I've experienced that too, being in the hospital where I couldn't lift my head off the bed. So I've had the sponge baths. I've had somebody wipe my butt, and that was okay. Like that's not how I want to live my life, though. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference. Like I can accept care, but I don't want to be that for the entirety of however many years. I've watched the whole Alzheimer's progression. I've watched the whole. I've done the caretaking and having to do the showering and help them wipe every time they went to the bathroom and just fight them with that. And I'm like,
I
no.
don't want to get old. Fuck it. But hey, if I have to get old, if that's my will,
No, but that's
if
the thing is that
yeah.
I want to hold my grandchildren. I want to meet my great grandchildren. So I do embrace all of that. But I'm just saying at a certain point, I'm not going to be, I don't feel like it's a bad thing to be ready to go.
I don't think being ready to go and being like, when I'm shitting myself off me, I think those are two totally
No,
different
I would off
statements.
myself. No,
Or offing
I would have a
yourself, like, all of
nice
a
little
sudden,
chemical
like,
cocktail. Would have a celebration of my life, and then I'd be done.
because then there also is like this certain amount of something you're saying because your body doesn't work anymore, that the energy that you possess, the love you give, and the wisdom that you have isn't useful to people while you're like, they might still need it. Even though your body might not work the same way, you still might have very valuable things for your village that you might feel like your body's a burden. You can't hunt, gather, or hold the babies anymore. All the things that you do, but like there, and you might not even be the medicine woman anymore because you can't even speak, but there is still like you're there because there's something that you're providing still.
See, and that just sounds like that song "One to Me" by Metallica, and I don't want to be that either. So if I'm a vegetable, then somebody please fucking suicide me.
Well, vegetables
Do not
something,
restore.
But they use a
yeah.
conscious vegetable. Like he was aware, he just couldn't see here. He had no arms, legs.
How
But
many
Yeah,
anyway,
people though
honestly,
are
I
like
saw my
conscious
dad's
vegetables?
uncle, dude. I saw my dad's uncle like little by little because he had diabetes and his feet slowly like turned black and blue. And he was old, like 87, something like that. 87 or something like that. And I saw him slowly being chopped up to the point where his legs are cut off up to his waist and he was just bedridden and like everyone had to carry him and stuff. If I get to that point like of like, oh my god, I'm just in a room by myself and I feel like I'm a burden to everyone at this fucking point, like then I'd be like, guys, just send me to Canada
but
since
that's the
they
thing
can
is that
like.
your family will never do it, and they'll
No,
keep
they
you
won't.
hanging on as
Here's
long as
the other
possible.
thing too.
So
Yeah,
you
Some
have to do it
people,
before you get to that point. So I'm not
fucking
saying,
annoying.
like,
your energy might be nice to be around even if you're shitting yourself. There's people like that are walking around, they're just like young, healthy, virile people that they are a real burden to the
Mm,
village.
yeah.
Like there is so many dumb fuckers out there that are legitimate burdens to the village over the old people. I feel like the old people are getting disregarded, and that's what the like elite want us to do because the only real history is the history they'd tell us, not the fucking shit written down, the winner's version of history. It's like the shit from them. Like they've been through, like, don't do it. Let me tell you the real story of the Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy.
Yeah. And also like going back to the whole like offing yourself thing, there's survivors of people who like off tried to off themselves and who survived off, jumping the bridge and whatnot. And most of them, about all of them, their first instinct when they let go is, oh fuck, why did I do it? So that's like a big sign. If your body's first instinct is to say, fuck, oh my God, why'd I do it? It's probably not the right way to go. So don't
yeah.
do it. Don't do it.
To me,
Don't do it.
just from what I've gathered in my journeys, suicide, I call it the suicide demon because it is a voice that isn't yours. It is a voice mocking you, trying to convince you that it's yours, but it's like bigger and deeper and huskier. And it tells you all this really shitty stuff about yourself. And it's different than depression and it's different than sadness. And so I think yeah, I don't know. I don't see suicide being a noble thing, me personally, or something that it's like a level up in any way, shape, or form. It seems like a battle, like a moment battle that you just some people get convinced that that voice is themselves
Yeah.
or it becomes bigger than theirs.
And if anyone out there like needs somebody to talk to, please hit me up. Like, go in my DMs and be like, yo, Layla, what's up? I'm not feeling good today and this is what I'm going through. I will listen. I'm a fucking Pisces. Like, we listen. So hit me up. That's it. I'll show you love. I'll show you all the love you want.
Yeah, I
So
kind of think like a big, huge thing that we're supposed to be doing for each other,
yeah,
like regardless of religion or creed or any of the bullshit, like all the divides, we're supposed to like that cheesy saying that we're all just walking each other home. That's what I feel like it is every day. Like
yeah,
every day, we're just trying to get each other through another fucking day.
yeah. So like just be there's a lot going on, man. Like people have come to me like recently, like I have really bad thoughts. I'm like, bruh, I'm like, how many things have you gone through so far in life? You've overcame every single one. Replay, rewind. Think about all the bad times. Where are you today? You're fine. Why are you bugging out? Why are you bugging out? You're fine. Look around. That's it. And you're like, oh my God. Yeah, it's that easy. Look where you are today. Look at all the shit that you overcame. And you thought your life was over and oh my God, whatever, how traumatic. But look where you are today. Be
Oh my
grateful for
gosh.
that.
You remember like the breakup, whatever the breakup is of the person in life that you thought you could never live without. And now you're like, whew, thank
Mm-hmm.
goodness for that
Mm-hmm.
breakup.
Yeah.
Everything
You
good in my
look
life
back and
happened
you
because
laugh at them. All the
You're like,
hard
oh my
moments.
gosh.
I look back at them and I'm just like, wow, I overcame that and look where I am today. Like it just makes you stronger, man. Like just think of it as like juice for yourself, you know? Think of it as a jibbity jab for yourself. All those moments in life and it just gives you some kind of boost. Like,
It's like
damn,
a
I'm a
chink in your
fucking
armor of God. And
yeah.
you want the army around you that has all the chinks in their armor.
Yeah, all the
You want
scars.
yeah, you
All the
want all
bad
those. You want the
scars.
people that have made it through the battles. You want the sinners next to you that have realized and can call their sins out. You
Mm-hmm.
want all those people that have overcome those things. You want the ex addicts and the ex whores. Like in turn, you want your own Christ journey, and
Mm-hmm.
you want to surround yourself with all the people that have um been
That
through all the journeys, because it's all their words that if you can wrap them right and feed them to somebody else, you save their innocence from them not having to take those journeys.
yeah, man. It's so beautiful. It's so poetic. Life is so poetic. Ah, we all are all our own Shakespeare's. We have our own like fucking love stories, our war stories, and our family stories, our abuse story. It's like we all have them, but just different versions, man. We're all alike in a
Secrets and
way.
tales,
Yeah.
great loves, great loss.
Man, I think we needed to just say all that. That made me feel so good. Like I don't know about you guys, but it made me feel so good. I hope it
Well,
made you guys feel good.
you had to cuz when you say things like I think, well, like when you reach out to people and like you're having them heavy on your heart or head, or you give somebody an ear, or just like blanketly, or like, hey, if you're out there, you fucking matter. Like
Yeah.
these kind of things, you are providing somebody companionship in their low, and it matters. Like,
Hmm.
there could be somebody that listens to this fucking 5 years from now and just stumbles across of it on Rumble or X. If you make sure you like and subscribe to us there, thumbs up. That, they're just like, holy shit, I was looking for a sign,
Yeah.
and this is it.
that's the one thing. Like I prevented a friend, and she'll come back to me sometimes and say it from doing that. And I just knew because she stopped by my house and gave me a necklace, and it was just so random. She's like, "I wanted you to have this," and I knew it was special to her because who had given it to her. And so I knew. So I was like, she had like given it to me and taken off. She would not stay or anything like that. So I hunted her down in my car. She freaking almost did it too. But um she still is like, you saved my life that day. She says stuff to me all the time. But that's the thing, is that you do need to watch out for people. You need to watch out for the people that you love. If they're doing weird things like giving up like items that are really important to them and like mean something or meaningful, or if they're going through something rough in their life and they're saying weird things, you need to be vigilant and watch for them too.
Mm.
and you reach out to them. I think when you say to people sometimes that are in need, "Hey, you need anything?"
They're gonna say
They're
They
gonna
no.
need
say no.
they need too many things. They need too much, and so they don't even know to where to begin. Whereas if you just show up with the things, whatever it is, it might be toiletries, it might be food, it might just be you and like a bottle of wine. I don't know what the gig is, but it's like just show up. Like they're never mad to see you. Like I
Honestly, not just show up, but I've been in times where like I feel like I talk to people and yeah, they listen. It's like, but you need to listen with like empathy opened up to the feelings of what this person is feeling so you can feel one with what that person is actually feeling, because sometimes it's just more than words. It's like a feeling that is so deep inside the soul, and it's like I need someone just to like feel what I'm feeling because I feel so alone. And it's that like you feel sometimes like no one has ever felt like this before, so it's like that type of listening where you're really there
Well,
type
it's
of listening.
empathy and not
Yeah.
sympathy.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do that with people when we don't have time. And this is why time is so important for children and everything we were talking about before is like if you don't have time, you tend to sympathize with somebody where they're at, like you'll never be there, or that you can't remember what it felt like when you were. Whereas if you where you empathize, you actually put yourself in their shoes. And so they feel the same. They sometimes look the same from the outside, but sympathy is you outside of it, and empathy is you with them in
Yeah.
it.
And it's going to be uncomfortable because you don't know how to react to that. But you have to like literally be vulnerable enough to like feel uncomfortable with that person of that feeling. It's hard. It's really hard to do that because it's an awkward feeling at first. But once you like let yourself feel what that first person's feeling instead of rejecting that feeling, like, oh, and try to change the subject and not like, because you think that's the right thing. But sometimes it's just like, man, like hold their hands. Like if they're crying, like be vulnerable to that. And maybe there's something there that'll make you cry. Like that's that real connection of like being there.
A big Project Chaney thing, and it's been a while since I like hung out with my audience, but owning the awkward is so fucking important. It feels so awkward when you grab someone's hands and you're like, "Are you having a hard day?" Or "Are you okay right now?" And it's even harder when you connect with them and all of a sudden you're crying before they are, but they
Hmm.
needed you to cry first.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes really being there for somebody, it genuinely hurts. It's
Yeah.
scary. It's whatever. And maybe the only thing that comes out of it, you might not have any of the words to say to make their situation better, but it matters in a way that they know when they were in their lowest low, whatever it is. And sometimes that's why it's interesting when it's a stranger on a park bench. And sometimes you're that stranger where you're there for somebody and you're like, holy shit, that was such an awkward situation. I hope that person's okay. And you think about them randomly and they could be your best friend or like, a perfect stranger.
Or
But
like the lady doing your Brazilian wax for the first time, and she's telling the story about how she had to have her leg amputated, and you're sitting there bawling, and she's like, "Are you crying for me?" I'm like, "Yes," while my vagina's exposed, and I'm like, "We're really good friends now."
But that's the moment of like that energy that makes us all connect and make us all one.
Mhm.
Of that connection of like pure like passing that awkward station, like really connecting as human beings, not in a you're gay sense, but like a human being
no
sense.
homo.
No, no, like, you
We should bring back the
know.
no homo. Like Layla's having a hard day and I grab her hands and I'm like, "Is
No
everything
homo, yeah.
okay? No homo."
Yeah, let's bring that back. I miss that.
Yeah, I miss no homo a lot.
Yeah.
Like, but I think it would be funny to be like we really should feed the poor. No homo.
Oh man.
I might get new internet. I might get Elon Musk Starlink. No homo.
Well, you're saying that, we're gonna bring that back. And remember how it was like we're talking about sidekicks and stuff and like
I saw
nostalgic. They're trying to bring the fucking sidekick back, dude. That's we manifest things on this
It's
frequency.
because all of our audience is so powerful too, and so it's in that way of two in my name it shall be, and then the mustard seed thing, and then sometimes when we're all laughing, we all get into our inner child, and then we're laughing till we cry. So now we have tears coming out of our eyes. Now there's salt alchemy involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's too powerful, and so sometimes we bring back the sidekick. Other times we bring a plane out of the sky, but.
Woo! Dude.
Anyways, I'm not taking responsibility. I think it's one of
Nope.
you brujas in the chat.
One of y'all in there.
Yeah. One of you hoodoo voodoos in the chat
Oh man.
who will
Oh,
go
man.
nameless.
How ironic is that, yo? Guys, we're not trying to freak you out or anything. It's just weird. Like a lot of coincidences with the timeline and what we say. It's like either we know these things are going to happen before they happen, and that's why like we're getting like downloads through our flow state on this thing, and we just say these words, and then all of a sudden, boom!
And then all of a
Like
sudden Brittany's saying it.
Brittany, plane,
It
sidekick.
validates it.
It's that.
It was Nigel.
Oh no.
He took the plane down.
Nigel did it. All right, Nigel.
Nigel. I believe it. Okay, I feel better now that we at least know.
Okay, cool.
But so you guys know there was
It wasn't
some,
us.
yeah, there was some bad people on that plane, so it matters. They chose to be here just so you guys would all have your magic validated today.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what sometimes we just take those journeys for the collective. What else is happening in the world? I feel like, you know what's kind of hard now? There used to be a time when I was podcasting, when I was like just looking for shit to talk about, like at the intro of my show, where I would put like breaking news, and then it would just pull up the news that was happening, and I would get to see. There's no way to do that now. There's
Brittany
no
will
way to
start
like
talking about wiping old people's asses tomorrow. Sorry.
Who's
If
gonna
she
take care
does,
of Brittany when
you
she's
guys will
old?
know.
She's not gonna get old because
She's
well,
CGI. She's not around anymore.
something. Yeah,
The craziest thing about Britney Spears to me
she's in
that
Russia.
why does she always have a neck thing on? Like a choker that is a line on her neck that if I were to do CGI, it would be easier for me to put the CGI. Yeah, it's almost like she has a green screen mask on with a choker so they know to just keep it from here down. And Sam Asghari, he owns a CGI company. I feel like he's a Saudi guy. I feel like he's
Yeah.
a Saudi, like House of Saudi guy. And he owns a CGI company, which I also think is so crazy because everyone, you were putting up the Paris Hilton thing, and you were like, she feels like she's like, in the
The new
J-Lo to
Britney.
Selena way, she's trying to like steal this essence. But Paris has always been around with Britney.
Yeah.
I always felt like I always feel like Paris Hilton was kind of a handler at times because she never seemed wasted when Lindsay was wasted. She never seemed wasted when Britney was wasted. But she's also like Chet Hanks and like Kat Von D, a Parvo school kid. So she is a kid that we are learning from the elite that they just took them out of their bed one day and took them away to a school. And then they were like in this like weird military camp somewhere on an island that they had to do whatever. And
Pleasure Island.
yeah, I feel like we're hearing pieces of this come out so we don't dig deeper. It's almost like, but the Hiltons, they're a witch family. Like big Kathy Hilton has her 3 daughters, little Kathy, Kyle, and Kim, and within one fucking generation of them, her granddaughter Nikki marries a Rothschild. That is some witch shit.
Yeah.
You just are a no-name
Or a
fucking
cult
family,
owner
and that quickly. And
later.
then little Kathy marries a Hilton. They're like one of the biggest real estate moguls in the world. Everyone just thinks Hilton hotels, but they also have real estate firms. And I think the elite have these real estate firms, which is also the agency. So you take Kyle Richards' husband. They're like in the middle of a messy, they might get a divorce, but he owns the agency. So really it looks like they're in competition with the Hiltons, but I don't think they're in competition at all. It just dilutes the name so that the properties of the elite that are connected to the tunnels go through the hands they're supposed to. That's what I think it's all about. I don't care what piece of property they're buying. It's some ancient thing that has a trapdoor that's attached to some ancient thing. So, like, you and me don't get to buy a Vanderbilt house. You and me don't get to buy a house that was owned by like Patty Hearst. You and me don't get to buy the Kellogg's Post, whatever it's going on at Mar-a-Lago. We don't get to purchase those properties. We don't get to buy things that are attached where the Kennedys live and where Oprah lives and where the Epsteins. Like, who bought Epstein Island?
Did anyone buy it?
I don't know. I heard it was for sale.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it did sell quick too. And they said the only thing that was on Epstein Island after he was tried was a whole bunch of cement trucks.
Sure.
Doing what? Filling in what? And so that's
For
where I think a
why?
lot of these things, if you look on TikTok now, there's like this whole segment where it's people finding trapdoors in their houses and they're going down into them like
In caves and
way
stuff.
below, attached to huge caves and tunnel systems. And it's all over Michigan, New England, Florida, California. Everybody's finding these things. And so I just am like, be prepared, y'all. What's
Yo.
going on under our feet is way bigger. Ancient tunnels, ancient aqueducts, ancient sewer systems, it's everywhere.
So speaking of California, there's this whole San Andreas splitting apart from California. Like there's this whole like they're talking about like California like splitting away from the United States. And there's this man who actually is from Atlanta and he left his family just to go to California because he saw visions in his dream about California being split at San Andreas Point, which is actually happening now, and that a huge tsunami will be coming and putting most of California underwater.
That's
And
what that song "Anima" by Tool is about.
yeah, so
People
I
trying to
don't know
break
what
down into the ocean.
if anything is going to happen,
Some
but
parts, you know how
Because they left for a
like
long time.
they said the Phoenicians like figured out ways to like flood, like figured out great ways to flood whole civilizations. They figured out like ways to change rivers and
yep,
like dam up things and like flood. If you find ancient maps, like the same ancient maps that is like Florida and it wraps all the way up into South Georgia and Mississippi and Alabama, it's all of Louisiana, it's this whole big thing. There's old maps that it's like California is an island and it has this waterway that runs like almost like the whole length of
Probably
it
by the
that
Sierras.
yeah, it almost makes you wonder if somewhere it's just like not necessarily becoming it for the first time but going back to how it was before
was
some flood, because if you almost look at all the dead land too, all the sea salty desert, like it
yeah
just desert to me is such curious form
land.
of land. It's
Yeah,
like
Especially when it's filled
forced
with seashells.
obsolescence.
Like,
Yeah, and
I would always find seashells out in the desert.
scorpions were always at the bottom of the ocean. Like they always used to find their crustaceans.
Well, and the Nevada state dinosaur was the ichthyosaur, which is a fish. Like, it's Nevada. It's not even close to the ocean.
Or Salt Lake. The
And it
Great
has a
Salt.
salt lake. It's
The Great
pure lake.
Salt Lake. Sorry, that was Nimrod.
this realm is weird. So trippy. Oh my goodness, it is.
We
so
just don't know
trippy.
anything. When people are like, why are we looking into space? We haven't even researched our oceans. We haven't even researched our lands. They won't even let us into the parks at certain times of the night. They're like, I almost feel like they like go in, light it on fire, or throw a bunch of trash in there just so we're all like, hey, government, they lit it on fire, dumped a bunch of trash in there. And the government's like, you want us to come in and make it government land? Okay, great. Now you guys get out of here at 9:30. The sun's setting.
Well,
so
space,
curious.
it has to be water. I mean, they show us in the movies, Stargate, especially when they're traveling through space, the portal opens and whoosh, water comes out. So that's like, as above, so below. God created the firmament in the beginning, split the waters from the waters. That's the only thing. And I think the oceans are part of those waters. It's
I'm
part of school. It's part of the whole system that surrounds us.
Is there like an electrolyte equivalent to the ocean, we always talk about saline, our bodies being, whatever amount percentage that the earth is saline. Is there an electrolyte equivalent to the oceans? Like that they have this certain amount of different energy that we don't talk about, because they'll be like humans, like, you need your electrolytes. You're probably depleted on electrolytes.
I'm sure, because even the Dead Sea has different electrolytes than anywhere else. Like, there's minerals in the Dead Sea that aren't found anywhere else. So I would say, yeah, seawater has its own little
Isn't it
electrolyte.
curious? It's called the Dead Sea because nothing can live in it, but it's the most amount of salt.
Yeah, and it's the most amount of mineral, I would say.
It's curious. It's like probably really good for you. The Dead Sea. Like, how does something even get that name? It's like the Great Pyramids. What are we gonna all
Probably
agree
that
to
a
call
lot of
this
dead
thing?
people or
This
all the bodies that they fucking
They
killed
believe
near
is
there.
called
Sodom and
space.
Gomorrah. I want to say Sodom is probably under the Dead Sea. Like they found Gomorrah. I want to say like it looks just like those weird little. It's like sand, but it's like the hard sandstone or whatever. But it's all you can tell it's buildings, and when they like etched into the walls of it, it had like pure sulfur, like elemental sulfur, like the purest elemental sulfur they've ever found on the planet.
Here's some bullshit I don't believe right now. I just decided in the moment. Is it Pompeii where they showed us that the volcano blows up
Yeah,
and the people are
okay.
like, ah, don't believe that. What else happened there? I
I
don't
know.
believe it. Like,
I
it's
don't know.
bullshit. That's a bullshit story. Ever again in life, we don't have any other examples of volcanic. Ah! We don't have this anywhere but there. They didn't even know it was coming in the night. Some of them were sleeping, some of them were fucking, some of them were running, and it's like froze them all in time.
Her
That seems like more a
children, her
plasma
baby.
apocalypse. That
Yeah.
is more like whatever happened to quote unquote petrify those people. It's interesting. The word petrify to me also means scared. And so whatever happened also whatever it could have happened in cycles, but whatever happened petrified giants. Like it scared giants to death. No pun intended. It scared, like large things. Like the petrification of things is wild, which also makes me think about in the same file, petrified trees and how we gave petrified tree to a country and told them it was fucking moon rock.
Petrification has to do with salt,
Americans are assholes to the core.
doesn't it? When you petrify things or you preserve them, there's a whole salt process that goes into it.
Petra and preserve. They're kind
Uh-huh.
of different words. Petrify. Petrify is more closer to that land of Petra like you were in. Or that from Albania. Isn't there a land of Petra by there?
Wait, what? I was reading something. What? I'm sorry.
The land like Petrify
Petra.
is closer to like Petra, like by
Yeah.
where Albania.
It's
Petra
in
is
Jordan, isn't it?
in
Or
Jordan. Yeah.
yeah.
And didn't you say there's a whole bunch of petrified giants in
And Petra.
Petra?
Yeah, if you look at the structures, they have elephants, huge elephants, um, skulls, all types of animals. Like you can see them if you really start looking at these fucking mountains that lay around there. They also have inscribed the three daughters of Allah there that Muslims don't want to talk about for some reason, but it says in the Quran not to talk about it. But okay, anyway, that's where the actual cave where Muhammad received. Revelation. That's where the actual first Kaaba is, and it still stands, and it's Abraham's temple. Um, that's where Abraham's temple is, and also that temple that is in the movie. What's that movie? Indiana Jones. There you go. Stoned moment. But yeah, there's a lot of hidden shit there. And a lot of Muslims don't believe that the first
Oh my gosh.
Kaaba was there, but that's where the first Kaaba was, and that's
What
where the
about if
cave is.
Medusa had great weed?
Great weed,
Yeah, so she was just getting motherfuckers stoned.
probably. And what if weed is like that plant that everyone, the fruit of knowledge, and everyone's just like smoking, and everyone's like
Ding.
Ding,
The
because that's
second
where
you
my
first smoke
thoughts
weed,
flow.
you're just a little goody goody. You're paying
Yeah.
your taxes, you're fucking doing your thing, you're sitting in class and you're getting up when the bell rings. Then you smoke weed and you're like,
What
something's
am I
off
doing
around this
here?
motherfucker.
Yeah. Like I felt
For
now
real, like
that
the
you
second
say
you
it,
smoke, when people are like, when did you start becoming woke? It's probably right along the timeline where you're like, I
smoking weed.
first smoked weed and somebody showed me whatever fucking movie, whatever fucking thing. It could be the French Connection, and you're like, huh, it could be Rosemary's Baby, and you're like, I think these
I was in
motherfuckers are up to
school,
something.
Chaney, and talk about like time like shifting. Like I felt like I was in slow motion. Like I was in the classroom after my first time smoking, and I'm sitting in my chair and I'm turning my head. My like whole persona turns, but my vision is still here, and it slowly makes its way with my body. Like everything was like a warp. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I doing in this place? Like I felt like I was that person in that movie in that dense water cloud thing where she's talking to the aliens. What's that movie? Contact.
Mm.
That's how I felt. It was, and then after that moment, that's when 9/11 happened, and that's when my wokeness started. And I started smoking all the time, and not going to school, and cutting all the time, and experiencing life, and questioning shit. And then my brother died, and that was another awakening moment, questioning God and what is this reality? Where'd he go? So it was like a chain of events. It's like pop, 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 pop. Arranged marriage. What? Uh,
Oh, sometimes I just think too, I'm grateful like for whatever version of me is Albanian that you're my older sister. Thank fucking God you said something
mhm,
because not that it was going to be worse on me, but it was going to be worse on me.
mhm, mhm.
Like holy shit. Like I just think about being like a lesbian and being arranged marriage on top of already being arranged marriage.
Dude, that's true stories, man. A lot. A lot of
Nightmare.
them exist, yeah. But thank God I'm breaking the cycle. I love myself for it.
God bless America.
God bless America.
Do we have anything else to talk about before we skedaddle?
Mm, I can't think of anything right
I
now.
can't think of anything either. Chad, if you think of anything, we'll give you a couple of seconds. If
Yeah.
you think
What
of
do you guys
anything,
want to talk
we'll
about? Anything?
yeah, it always takes you guys a couple of seconds. But
Yeah, we'll
um
wait. We'll be patient. We're patient.
So, yeah, go to brogrove.com if you want to October 25th and 26th. Meet some of your favorite content creators IRL. There will be people there like Donut. There will be Revenge of the Sis. The Tower Gang will be there. Top Lobster, Raven, Paranoid American, and who knows
Ooh,
what kind of special guests
you know what
might
I
come in. Last time at Brohemian Grove, Sam Tripoli was there, and I just think it's going to be bigger and better. So who knows what's next? I'm not saying he's not going to be there this time. Like it's
yeah.
still a couple months away. The event's getting bigger. I think there's going to be food trucks and the joke joint where it's held is a smoke-friendly environment that the owner hands out joints. There's going to be stand-up comedy. There's going to be live podcasts. And if you can't make it to Florida during that time, there will be a very inexpensive live stream that you can get. And so you'll have just 2 days of entertainment that you can tune in whenever you want. And it'll be just running a live stream. So go to brogrove.com and do come and hang out with a whole bunch of truthers and libertarians and magalicious mystics.
Do you know what was on the news, Shaney? This is kind of interesting, actually.
What?
So, 50 Cent's ex baby mama is actually called into court or for something with P. Diddy for sex trafficking women at this particular hotel in Miami, which kind of fucking blew my mind. So it's like making me question, like, who the fuck is 50 Cent? Why do you have a baby with her? How now he's been calling out P. Diddy this whole time, but his baby mama is involved with P. Diddy, and they're the head ringmasters of this fucking trafficking ring, apparently. So there's some like a little tea there for the whole sex trafficking. conspiracy with, P. Diddy and whatnot. So I would just
Hmm.
wonder how 50 Cent ties to all this, like the whole JFK 50 Cent.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
interesting. Fitty. Also coming up through with Dr. Gay and Eminem, which Eminem, I think it's curious that they're coming out with the 9 flavors, like the original packet that they took off, like with the candy coating that they made all the bullshit about. They're coming back out with that. But the Eminem to me is always a 33. I don't
Mm.
see anything else. It's just this Turner Eminem and ink. It's just like, huh, look at with their and the
Oh,
company that
and
gives you
8.
M&M, Mars. And so you know how they love their Mars symbology all over everything. Elon Musk of it all, I think is curious.
Did I have a nip slip?
Oh,
I
is
didn't
Elon the
notice.
metaphor?
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
I didn't notice.
Whoops. Did I? My
But I
bad.
don't know. I'm not to like
Shit.
take I do feel like I could hang out with you guys at this point and I might not notice. Like I'm like,
Whoopsie.
oh shit, usually nipple. I'm like a fucking little bloodhound.
Someone pin it.
I know. Timestamp Layla's
Liz
nipple.
nipple.
Timestamp Layla's nipple, and we're gonna make stickers and merch out of that and have them at Brohemian Grove. I saw
Goodness.
Layla's nipple in real life.
Yeah. They're nice though. They're nice nipples.
But we are gonna figure out something to do. I don't know how much of the time, because we were talking about Abbie's 21st birthday. I don't know how much of the time we're gonna actually be spending at this place. So I don't want to take, but we might we might be there part of the time and then go do something else. So I don't know. We'll be in and out.
Well, what time did it end?
I have no idea. I have no idea what time it starts or ends or nothing yet. It just keeps getting bigger.
Okay, so if it like ends at 10, it's still fine. We could still go out. That's when the party starts. Hey.
Unts, 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 unts.
So I need to fly out Thursday,
Huh?
probably. I said I probably need to fly out Thursday.
That's what I'm planning. Thursday, Friday, and then be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and fly out Sunday.
Okay.
Because I have to work Monday. I can't take off because the girl's leaving and we're short a bartender. And I'm like, motherfucker.
And if you want to stay longer, Abbie, you can always drive back to South Florida.
Well, then I'm gonna stay till Monday.
You totes can. And
Okay.
you can also look into MLB Airport, Melbourne Airport. Sometimes it's cheaper depending on the airline. And it's very close to me.
All right.
That's another option because then I could always pick you up on my way
Perfect. Okay.
over to O-Town. So, yeah, we hope you guys all come and hang out. It should be so much fun. There will be special merch just for the event that we are up to. We wanted to get the Medici cards out. Hopefully, they'll be done in time. And there'll be a whole bunch that goes around those. But I really want to get those out in time, but I don't think they'll be out in time for that. For some reason, I don't think everything that will come planned. But there will be other cool stuff. Yeah, and make sure you go to illuminaticomic.com and support Thomas and Donuts' new endeavor and help with the Kickstarter. Thomas always, they just keep getting better and better. Like, I don't know if you've been a fan of Juan's comic from the beginning. They just keep getting better and better of episode or edition. So do go do all that stuff. Thank you guys for hanging out. We love you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe. And we do want to do the Wednesday show. And the more we've been talking about it, we just want to produce something really top notch for you guys. Like, you get so many shows that are just panel shows hanging out. We want to do something a little different and like use all of our skills and talents. And even you guys are like funny AF, and like maybe give you something a little more produced for one of these places that you like and subscribe to us. It will be Lodge 1202, and you will be able to find it. It will be worth the wait, and we will be hanging out with you guys live soon. Just make sure you do go to X, because Layla could be running a room, and we might want you guys to come there and hang out as well. So we do have a ton of stuff in the works, so just be patient. And so I want to say we'll see you Wednesday. Who knows? We could pop in on Wednesday because we will all be meeting up, but it's really just to kind of get everything prepared for what we have ahead. So anyway, we will definitely be back Friday. Is all that? That's all I was trying to say. If we don't see you Wednesday, we'll see you Friday. So I love you guys, and thank you as always for hanging out. And don't go offing yourself. At
Don't.
least
Absolutely not.
we
Hit
love
me
you.
up.
Somebody
You are
out there loves you, and it might be one of us. So yeah.
Hit me up.
Anyways, XOXO Gossip Girl.
Mwah.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
Here comes Santa. Here comes the world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracies, sex, culture, makings, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracies, sex, culture, makings, it's okay to change